Please wait a moment as we get ready for the DJC Game Studios live stream. Pairing with Merlin and connecting.
Hello and welcome to Amico Forever. All right, we don't need him singing. Welcome everyone. We have Panda sub 2000. We have Nick Geeks with Cash. I believe he went to get something. And we have the original Next Level Gaming, Mike Mullet.
It's my Halo theme.
Oh my god, I just saw the private.
It's gonna happen.
Oh my god. Hello everyone. Let me go through here. Holy crap. I want Amigo shows for Christmas.
Well, you got the best of the lot.
You got
There
it.
you go.
What's up, Cyrus?
How you doing, Cyrus?
And I fulfilled Jan's wish for Christmas. Here I am, Jan.
There he is. Oh my goodness, there's everybody here. He goes, I see Mullis found his way here. Yes, he did. He did.
I did. Took me a while, but I found it.
How was your Hanukkah, Mike? How was your festivities?
It was very good, actually. It was very nice. You know, the kids growing up, they're starting to get into the holiday a little more from the, you know, what it means standpoint.
Okay.
Being able to do the actual religious pieces. It's been excellent.
Sweater.
Wow.
Holy crap, dude. Is that what I
You clean up nice, princess.
Wow, he went
princess.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
No. Anyway, all was well, and the kids are happy with their Mario Kart live circuit.
Yeah. Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that stuff's great.
Well, are those things kind of hard to get, or are they a little bit easier now?
They seem to be
pretty okay. That's good.
Yeah. And I tell you, I am one of those guys that cringes every time I see something, you know, with Nintendo and cardboard. But I have to say, what they did with this was flipping cool. Just the fact that you can set these cardboard gates up anywhere in your house, and basically your house becomes the track. And as you drive under the track, like it whatever it does, there's a camera on the car so that you can see where you're driving on the Switch. And as you're driving under the gates have the actual, you know, the weapons, the weapon cubes. And if you hit the other car, like we have got one for Seth, one for Spencer, so Mario and Luigi, and if Seth hits Spencer's car on his Switch, it actually stops Spencer's car for like 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this thing is really cool.
Nice.
Really, really cool.
Hey, Rich, how's
So-
it
How you
going,
doing,
man?
Rich?
It's one.
Congrats
of
on
the
your new
things.
channel.
What?
Yeah, that sounds
New
awesome.
channel.
Like, yeah,
Channel.
Rich has a new channel.
What?
You didn't
Alright.
know that? Calling all retro gamers.
Whoa, he's got
Oh
he has the other one.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
I thought it's a new. It's a
Which
new
one that
show,
is
not
it?
a new channel, right?
No, it's a new channel.
Oh,
Him and Killdash.
you're right. That's how much of an idiot
I
am.
saw you guys there. There's a heavy sarcasm in that. I didn't see any of you there. So shame on all of
It
you.
looks a little chilly at
Chilly.
this location. I mean, chilly.
How you doing, John?
What's going on,
up,
brother
guys?
Stash? John, I'm breaking news tonight, baby.
Oh, I thought you said breaking wind. I got nervous. I was like, oh, wait, I'm not near him, so we're good. I'm
Yeah,
safe.
I mean, if it's digital win.
Yeah.
So when did you want to announce that now?
So I put the picture in the chat in the Discord. If you
Okay.
have the ability to grab that and put it up on the screen, I don't know if you do.
Let's see if you could share it, or I could. Oh, it's in the Discord. Let me.
It's
see.
in the Discord.
Hey, Nick, I don't think we can hear you, by the way. Yeah,
No,
we
we
can't hear
cannot.
you.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't heard him talk yet. Like,
I miss his voice. It's like, it's a gorgeous tune, and I miss it so
it's a
much.
Gorgeous tune. Let me pull it up.
That is a hell of a sweater, I tell you. It's so festive.
And it goes with his background.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I love all the blue colors. It's gorgeous.
I'm really impressed with how Nick, who we talk about, and he knows he can hear us, but he can't talk back.
Geeks
I'm
with
impressed with
impeccable holiday cheer.
Yeah.
I know. Can
Oh,
you
there we
guys hear
go.
me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Somehow this thing messed up my microphone settings. I don't know how that happened, but I just fixed it.
I'm so jealous of your green screen.
Yeah, we bought 2 ugly Christmas sweaters because the office always does like an ugly Christmas sweater like showcase thing, competition, whatever you want to call it. And then they sent everybody home because everything ramped up with COVID around here and all that other
Right.
crap again. So we didn't really have much use for them this year. So
blue
I
glow
figured
is
since you guys were
literally
requesting an
bouncing off
ugly
Danny's
Christmas
face.
sweater, that's why I was off camera for a minute because I was going and changing shirts.
John doesn't even know what the news is. John's out of the loop. So
Oh,
When I was-
yeah. You're really fixated
Yes.
on this.
I am. It's the
Mike's
dumbest.
very excited about this,
Everybody's.
man.
I'm sure everybody is thinking, what is wrong with Mullis? Why is he fixated on this? But there's a backstory to this. So I have been
It's not
for
very
the
good
longest
backstory.
time. Shut up. Listen, you. Thank you. Get him, Rudolph.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't have any Christmas spirit because I'm Jewish, so just back off.
It's all good, man.
All right. So,
Go ahead.
in fairness, I didn't catch this the first time around, but in the UI video, they were going through the games, and it's in the background, Armor Battle. Now I have been most of you know this game as it is called. Shut up, Cyrus. See, look, Rich is legitimately happy for me. In fact,
Everyone just pretend enthusiasm. Come on,
Yes!
everyone.
I feel like this is like a great victory. So this is the original Armor Battle.
Yes.
This is the original awesome Armor Battle, right? And
Yeah.
so when he was reimagining the tank game, and I said to Tommy, you got to call it Armor Battle. And he goes, no, not calling it Armor Battle. We're going to call it Battle Tanks. And I'm like, no, you can't, no. And him and I like argued about it. And when we went to Philly, I was still arguing with him, like, Tommy, you can't call this Battle Tanks. It's Armor Battle. He goes, I don't want it to look, so much like the old game and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't even think about it. And he and he hits me up earlier today and he says, "You didn't see the Easter egg I left in there for you?" And I'm like, "No." So I went back and I looked and I
There it
said,
is.
thanks. Real funny. And then he said, "Well, that's what we're going to call the game." I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
See, if I were him, I would change it. If I were
He is
him, I would
actually
change
gonna
it
call
back
the
now
game.
just to mess with you.
And he won't have a Merry Christmas if he does that. So the game is actually going to be called Armor Battle, as it
There you
should.
Woo!
There it is.
Please, fake enthusiasm, take it. I will take the fake enthusiasm
Ah.
as well as the real enthusiasm. I know it's the stupidest
Wow.
little thing to be excited about. I get it, but for me,
I know
which
these
was-
guys
this
are
was
really
like-
excited.
Thank God I'm wearing tight underwear
there
because
you go. See, now I want to see. Now I want to see. what you
I'm
posted.
offended. It needs to be called Battle Tanks. I'm more
With an X.
offended.
I gotta go check.
battle tanks with an X.
That's right.
So it's
'Cause
cool.
extreme.
It's extreme.
Oh,
Cyrus says, "Plot twist: Armor Battle is a placeholder name." Shut up, Cyrus. Shut up. Shut up, all of you.
John
No,
says,
that's
"Well,
right.
that's news to me, but congrats on the
Thanks for
moral victory."
I will take it. I will take it.
Oh, I love it.
Ah,
Oh my God.
no, this is. I mean, it really is. It's what the game should have been called from the beginning. I mean, I know when he did the deep dive, he sort of threw it off by saying, "Oh, this is the tank game from Triple Action." And I said to him in the comments of the video, "No, it's not. No, it's not. That is Armor Battle. Armor Battle pretty much runs over that trash." And it's good. I mean, and to be fair, anybody who saw my the box opening for the physical media, the physical NFTs.
Mhm.
If you saw my video with Seth, we show a couple of minutes of it too, as well as the deep dive. If you guys watch that deep dive, that game is much closer to the original Armor Battle than it ever was the Triple Action tank game. And
I
it
agree
just,
with that. It does look a lot more like Armor Battle. Same thing with you got multiple hits off your tanks.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's I like that name too. That was the one I played the most. Like we were saying earlier, Triple Action I never really had growing up. Because I figured it was more of a combat style clone, but not knocking it, but just
one
saying.
can hope, Brother Lance. One can hope.
What about Scallywag says? What about Under Armour Battle?
So,
I'm having an Under Armour battle right now.
Speaking of something, I'm
Makes sense.
suddenly too close to Panda.
I do want to address one thing I saw in one of the Reddit forums about. It was talking about. It was kind of trash talk, and it said something about Finnegan Fox, and it was not true because I just recently played the game. If anyone knows Finnegan Fox, trust me, I know Finnegan Fox. And talk about playing it. How there was I think it was showing about it. Goes, hey, on the controller it says there's an A or it says select A or B. Well, there's no A or B button on the controller. Oof. And it was like one of those like derogatory. It's like, that the controller has a color touchscreen, and when the menu comes up, it says select A or B, and you look down, there's an A or B on the color touchscreen, and you press A or B. So oof, back at you, steam powered.
That's not a physical button, sir. Sir,
is what I say.
Sir.
You showed him,
Sir.
DJC. You showed
I told
him.
you.
I think they're going to turn their lives around now, and in no way, shape, or form hit back
Not
harder.
at all.
yeah, they're totally
Make
seeing
all
the light now.
Make all the
Oh,
videos you want about
just
me.
wait. The videos that will be coming out this week. Because I haven't been on in a while, so I haven't given the fodder to.
Oh, you haven't had the fun. Yeah, you're missing out.
Fun.
Yeah, you got eggs to like sow here.
Yeah, so it's my turn to do this and then not care what they say. So we're playing Halo tomorrow night. I don't care about them. Nick, you're still in tomorrow night, right?
I'm definitely going to try to be in tomorrow night. I'm going to try to do something with a
No,
buddy of mine earlier. and then be in with you.
no. I'm pulling Yoda on you.
Whoa.
There's no try.
And you will be.
There's no try. We need you in this fire chief.
All right.
Thank you.
Ow, my arm. I have to play Halo. Ow.
Oh, Pete, I'm sorry. There is no lag. Just wait till you play it. Everybody brings us up every 2 minutes. It's a real.
I don't know why this comes up every week.
It's not, dude. And I understand because people make videos and talk about it. I understand. Nothing's been proven. You can't take a video of a video and count lag.
They should even this article's written by people who are not even in our on YouTube, and they're not even in our little our social circles here rather. And they say there's no lag. I mean, they do mention some complaints and stuff, but the lag is the one thing they keep saying, like, just drop it. There's no lag.
Right. Yeah. Like it's to the point, is this console for you or not? If it's not, kind of move on kind of thing. It's simple games. It's no graphic powerhouse. So people that keep like Pat and Ian's keep ripping on the graphics. These games look like crap. Well, they're not supposed to be powerhouses once again. So yeah, man. And I'm not saying everybody can have their opinion. You know, I'm not ripping on anybody that, you know, gets a lot of information. YouTube is just full of crap, dude. When we're getting closer now, it just to the point now, once you play it, you're either going to like it or you're not.
Right.
I'm going to go
right.
there.
I mean,
I'm going to be fair. You know,
I mean, look, the fact that we got a UI video today, we're getting close. I mean, the next thing has to be a release date or a ship date for the Founders. I mean, we're now showing the things that are, you know, right?
Yeah, and this is perfect right here. You can't. It has to be in person. You can't do a video of a video.
Yeah, especially when you talk about compression and like video compression, all that stuff. Like that you can't do it that way.
Yeah, the UI. I mean, once again, and I think, I think it looked good. I remember in Tommy, if you haven't yet, join Intellivision Amico Club on Facebook because there's a lot of discussion and posts in there. But Tommy had reposted a video from the first UI, which was shown like over a year ago or a couple years ago on that first opening, but it had the robot grabbing the bulbs instead of the globes, then screwing it in, and then it had like the arms. I thought that was kind of nifty too. But I think what they're doing is they're kind of, what is this here? But the thing is like, I think they're trying to make it super simple. So if any type of family member turns this on, they basically see big screen and balls. You grab the ball, that's the game. That's it. You either highlight the ball or unhighlight the ball.
Oddball.
Big screen and balls. That's a clip.
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing was like, yeah, I think they just went to a simple. It's supposed to look simple and not complicated. I mean, it could have crazy arms grabbing stuff and moving, and then grandma gets scared and falls off her chair. You know?
I actually really like what they showed today. I
like how animated it was. It reminded me a little bit of the Switch interface, like some of their old interfaces, like the Wii and the Wii U interface, where things are kind of just a little bit animated and playful. It's kind of an inviting interface when you do stuff like that. It makes it kind of like a little bit more fun to interact with, a little bit less clinical. And I think that's great for the system. It fits with it really well.
Yeah. Like I said,
Pete said PS Vita-ish, which I could see it. I could see a little bit of the Vita.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because they had the same little orb kind of system. Yeah.
I kind of like that all the globes are on there, and the only ones that are spinning are the ones you own or the ones you can access. So that was really neat. I really love how they show, and we kind of got a sneak preview of this. Panda was with me when we kind of saw that back in the Boston event that the store was up and running, and you could, which he kind of showed today, you can go online and purchase a game. So that's kind of cool seeing that too. He said it was called the Monbot, and
I kind of like that actually. That's kind of fun.
Monitor. That's what we call the monitor, the Monbot. Yeah, he was saying earlier, like, he goes, you love the robot, but the new look is cleaner. It is, and that's what it is. Because if you're gonna,
I like it a lot better.
Yeah, if it looks,
I like the retro TV screen look and how they do that and zoom into that. I use some stuff like that. Yeah. Well, not exactly that, but the kind of retro TV look for some of my videos, and it fits in this aspect. It looks nice and clean.
Yes, I think so too. I actually do. I do like it. You know.
I have to admit, you do sound like you missed the robot arm a little bit.
I loved the robot.
Okay.
I loved the robot. No, that's terrible. yeah, photorealistic. There's no ray tracing. Mark says, "Hi, everyone new to this Amico family. I pre-ordered mine a couple weeks ago and looking forward to playing it. What kind did you get, man? I got the.
Welcome, Mark.
Did you get the wood grain or the white or the black or
The
I
wood
should
grain. The wood grain is only founders.
No, it's on.
I think it's VIP as well. I think you can get it that way.
But I just saw pre-order on wood grain. I thought, unless I'm mistaken,
wood grain was only founders.
I'm gonna pull up Intellivision.
I thought there was a way to order that from Intellivision directly.
That's what I thought. I'm almost positive. I'm going to pre-orders here.
Nick, what is on your your belly? What's that thing on your sweatshirt?
Oh, it's basically a wampa, is what it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
So let's see. Where's
I love how. Hold on. I love how the camera is green screening through the buttons on the top of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because they're a little bit of a hue
little reflective.
So
probably.
they're kind of like transparenting that part.
So they released.
Yeah, so you could do all four. You could do all four. The one goes to GameStop.
I thought you could, but I could be wrong.
The original plan was the wood grain was founders only. So that's a
and Luke is saying wood grain was also for VIP. He said it's VIP's wood grain as well.
Yeah.
All right, because when Chris
and Mark got the black one, and honestly, Mark,
VIP,
I like that black one. I've seen it. It's kind of a graphite black. It's really
the black
pretty.
one's for me. Yep.
Yeah, the black one looks very Tron-like when you boot it up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth.
Static agent, screen opaque, transparent.
Well, aren't each of you getting like 37 systems? Or is it...
Well, they're sending us 12.
I think they're going to do more deep dive into stuff like this. I know you can control the light schemes and stuff like that, which I know Panda is going to be excited about.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I will fake enthusiasm for you.
Thank you. I've never taken ecstasy, but I imagine if and or when I get the Amico, I'm going to just drop family friendly. I'm going to drop ecstasy and just focus on those lights. I'm kidding.
He's really good. He's in. I thought I was really into RGB, and then I met Panda, and he's like like no contest.
Oh, I love it.
So, just so you guys are aware, GameStop does not have the wood grain. They only have the graphite black, galaxy purple, glacier white.
And then
the wood grain was supposed to only be on Intellivision site, was my understanding.
Yep, and that appears to be it. Hey, Potion.
Hey, Potion.
I bring it up every time, but I want to take a bet as to where that red one's going.
Comment from Jan too.
I'm still catching up here. Nick says the finger sort of looks like Krampus. Yes,
it does. It absolutely does.
Which the launch games do you think will be the hot? Dude, Astro Smash to me is the one I'm going to jump into first. It's still my number one, and it.
The one I'm the most curious to play with other people now, having seen the deep dive on it, is Missile Command. I think that's
Command. Yeah,
mine's Shark.
That's cool, Mark, because he's this guy. Just it's true because if you just ordered this is just going to go along with the rest of your systems. Like everybody thinks it's trying to compete with everything. It's like I have an Xbox, I have a Switch. I'm also going to have an Amico. It's not.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing's going to take place in anything.
You can't see it from here, but my Xbox Series X and my PS5 are like right next to each other, and my OG Xbox and my Saturn and my Dreamcast and my PS4.
I still haven't found the Series X yet. It's kind of annoying me at this point.
Right there for the Amico. You know why? My kids and I are gonna play that thing, and then when they go to bed, I'm gonna play that thing. Memes. What's up, memes?
Memes is
I said hi to memes earlier. You guys are slow. He popped in way earlier.
I said hi.
I thought I said hi, but in case I didn't, I'm saying hi again.
Fine, I'll say hi again too.
Just
hi,
want
memes.
to say.
Just remember, I said it first.
Now this Walmart's BS. It ain't going to Walmart. It's going to Target, and I'm judging this entirely because it's
Amico be Chick-fil-A to combat the KFC.
That's actually really funny. I like that.
Oh, that's right. Flying Tigers, exactly. Memes. Flying Tigers.
Flying Tigers isn't going to be launch day, is it?
I don't think it is.
I thought that was like wave 2 or wave 3.
Those are my top two.
Well, I really love Flying Tigers. That game was fun.
Right, but let's stretch your brain cells a little bit because I want you to take out. I want you to take out the pack-in titles. Pick a launch game that's not a pack-in.
Yes.
It's not a pack-in?
Moon Patrol is not a pack-in, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, Moon Patrol is not a pack-in?
I'd say Moon Patrol is the big one then.
Yeah, Finnegan Fox. That's not a package.
That's true.
I would say Finnegan, but I don't.
I think it's Moon Patrol. Because it depends. If you're getting a lot of like the people our age who are going in it for more of the retro idea, then I'd say it's Moon Patrol. If it's gonna be people outside of that, I'd say Finnegan Fox.
See, you could easily put Missile Command in there too if you were going to go like the more retro crowd.
You could also easily be wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so could you, sir. So could you.
Typically, how it goes.
Yes. We're aware.
We're all aware.
There might be some more McDonald's drive-through videos coming. So Cyrus says biplanes. I don't sleep on biplanes.
Yeah, biplanes. Biplanes is another one of those. Really fun. And honestly, biplanes I think would almost be easier for people to pick up and start to get really good at than Missile Command. Missile Command seems to lean heavily into you have to really time the shot and aim the shot really well to succeed at it. Whereas biplanes, I think you could make an argument that people could pick that up and start getting competitive with that a little quicker.
What we think the biggest is going to be?
Oh crap! Evil Knievel.
Yeah, Evil Knievel.
But I think
at Boston that was the biggest
Evil Knievel's been a hit everywhere. I keep sleeping on the game, but that thing's been huge everywhere.
Yeah, the 11857 guys were all over that. I mean, there's a lot. The crazy part is there are so many. Because don't forget in that first 8 of the collector's editions is also Dynablaster.
Yes,
that's what I would be most excited. I mean, I love Bomberman.
Too,
yeah.
So, yeah.
See, that kind of game to me is well, and honestly, most of the ones we're talking about, like Missile Command, I think I'd have more fun with other people, biplanes, other people.
Absolutely.
Dynablaster, especially, I would want multiple people for like Dynablaster.
Did you guys play it? I know someone. Yeah, I know some people did. How
I didn't get a chance to play it. The 857 guys played it a lot when we were.
I think I had heard that it was still in early development, so there may have been a few little issues. But how well did it compare to a Bomberman with that on the side?
I mean, it looks and plays like Bomberman. The issue they had is that in 4-player mode and only in 4-player mode, there was some latency. Yeah, there was. And I mean, they when Tommy saw it, he said, "Yeah, we're working on it." But that wasn't, that didn't stop. I mean, Seth sat right down with the level 857 guys and was playing along with them. And so
nice.
I can see how fun that game is going to be with me, my 12-year-old, Seth, my 7-year-old, and my 17-year-old, and us just, bombing the crap out of each other. I can see how that.
I had a huge amount of fun with Bomberman the few times that I played it. So that one wasn't. I could see it being a big hit game, just not necessarily for me. For just me not being a big Bomberman guy, and it plays almost just like Bomberman to me.
Jim, if I knew then what I know now, I would never have sold my Bomberman for Saturn. If I knew then what I know now, I was young and stupid.
Isn't it worth like $4.8 trillion now? Too?
It's worth
somewhere, give or take.
I have my 5-player tap for my Duo TurboGrafx or Turbo or. PCM.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I can do 5-player Bomberman. I got Bomberman original, Bomberman 93, Bomberman 94, and some other. And I just got Bomberman for Switch too.
On the Saturn, you could do two 4 taps for an 8-player.
Oh man, that's insane.
Well, I have Bomberman Second Strike on the N64, which that's pretty rare. So I win something here.
Cyrus is saying
that none of you people ever heard of.
Yeah, when Night Stalker drops.
Night Stalker, right? Like that's going to be, and again with Cloudy Mountain, like those are 2 huge ones. I said, I keep going back to this. Your Bomb Squad and your games that require those 8 players or those team games are going to be big for parties, man. Like I'm saying, Bomb Squad's going to be just a sleeper hit, and everybody's like, "Shut up, Chuck! You say this every freaking stream."
Shut up, Chuck! You say this every stream.
And I'm right there with you, Chuck. I think Bomb Squad's going to be really good. I think Bomb Squad's going to be a great party game. Like if you have 4 or 5 friends, I think that's going to be like a perfect fit for that.
Oh yeah, speaking of this, the sound, the orchestrated music in Astro Smash.
The music in that's fantastic.
It's like,
I was really enjoying the sound effects out of Missile Command that they showed today. I thought those were pretty spot on.
Yeah, everybody was and I shouldn't say everybody. There was a couple channels just trashing on that, and I was like,
What?
and they're like, well, the Pat Meehan's of the world and the Pat.
What are you talking about?
But listen to this. But they said this looks awful and shitty compared to Recharge. I'm like, Recharge.
Yeah, people hated
vector
Recharge.
lines, vector lines. Like, yeah, no, this thing has character. It had smoke in the background. It had the air raid sirens. It had the cities that looked like little cities, but still made them look almost 8-bit, or whatever. And I just love the way it was like literally reimagined from the original. And then all those power-ups, and you're gonna crap on it. I gotta stop saying shit.
It is a Christmas show, dude.
It is. Merry Christmas. Yeah. No, I thought Missile Command, and I didn't play that one either. I watched people play it. I was like, it's Missile Command, whatever. But now I want it. Like, I can't wait to play. I have it, but I'm saying.
Why didn't you play it that day? I think you were playing Intellivision baseball at that time.
I was. I was playing the original baseball.
Yeah, because I got to play it.
I ended up playing. I played a few games. Pool, I really liked. I really liked Pool for some reason. I don't know why. I think it just looked beautiful. But yeah, and then we saw a lot of these ones that were in this menu. Plus, we saw a ton more, which we can't say, but. There's a lot of games because Jan was saying about it was Major League Baseball launch. They put out launch titles, a list. Well, you got your 6 and your 8, that were you got your 8 box that are going to be out at launch, obviously, and your 6 pack-ins. And then there's going to be a lot, and I'm not giving anything away because it was in this menu that they showed today. You got Sesame Street packs in there. So many games of each that. I'm sure I didn't see if Care Bears and stuff was in there, but that's already been announced. So you're gonna have all those kids games in there as well. Then I saw back streets back. No,
all right.
Back Talk Party was in there. There's gonna be a bunch of, you can tell there's a bunch of board games and card games. So
that emoji thing, right? Too
the emoji game is gonna be a great team game. So yeah, I really think I think there's gonna be easily over 20 games ready to go.
Hey, before I forget, someone left a comment on one of my videos. They asked a question. Yeah. Have any of you guys played the controller vertically? Oh, you have. Can you talk about
Chuck has tried a couple times, and I
did it during Flying Tigers, and I shipped out.
That was the
best to do it on the old stuff.
That was the first thing I did.
Yeah, well, that's because you're a professional journalist and not an idiot who talks to puppets all day. So, can you talk a little bit about that experience?
The original television too, and that's how he played the original television.
Right. That's why. So, I mean, we kind of when we were in Pennsylvania, and I got to play Astro Smash. I played it for a second like this, and I don't know why I pronounced it that way. And then I said I got to play it like old school, so turned it up on its end, played it, played it like the original. It feels much better than the original controller. I mean, the big joke amongst us old Intellivision guys is the Intellivision claw that you get from having to hold that thing and try to press those ridiculous side buttons, little square little tic tac buttons. Whereas this really fit. Show the side buttons.
Yeah, this is basically how you held it. You held it like this. It was almost, because back in the day, obviously there wasn't cell phones, but that's kind of how you held it. And it was almost like you were holding a walkie-talkie because your side buttons are here, so that it would be like a walkie-talkie, and then your right hand would usually.
But your fingers would, your hand would cramp. Your hand would cramp because the buttons were absolutely horrible to press in.
Right.
So, this does not feel like that at all. And even when you're holding it upright, it actually does feel now more like a cell phone than it does a walkie-talkie. Yeah. And because the buttons are up top and not in the middle of the controller, it's more natural for where your fingers go. Now, for me with Astro Smash, I don't care what anybody says, John. I play with auto fire.
That's how real men do it. That's what I've heard.
Right. Judge all you want.
You know what? When I played the Amico one, I didn't use auto fire. I was holding, because I think you can hold down the top button as an auto fire. Just hold it down without having to engage.
You can, but the fire, if I remember correctly, the fire rate was slower.
Slower? Okay, that's what it was then. Hey, it's Rab.
Rab.
Played it
Rab.
as well. Feels like horizontal is the intended for most games, but it works too. Yeah.
Yeah. Rab was the give Rab credit. He's the one who first pointed out the armor battle Easter egg.
That's awesome.
Of course he did. That makes sense.
And see, Jim makes a good point here. If it captures the fun of the Xbox Live games like Geometry Wars, then it'll be a win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there messing around with Beat Saber today because I got like an upgraded VR headset, and I was thinking, you know what? The big draw to this is to basically just better your score, do a higher difficulty, and compete against people in leaderboards. And I have like 80 hours in that game. Like, why is everybody bagging on a game that just goes for like a high score? I understand it's a virtual reality game and that's a different kind of aspect, but it's just as simple, right? I mean, you got two controllers in your hand and you're just hitting blocks. That's it. That's all you do.
Yep.
Right. And I do it partially for like low impact cardio because my left knee's been giving me problems. So I don't really want to be on an elliptical or doing a lot of weights or anything like that. And it gives me a way to like get my heart rate up and not do damage to my knee while it heals. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the reason I got it, was to have an alternative for when I injure myself, I can still do exercise. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the game's still fun. I still dump tons of time into it. There's still tons of songs in there and they're all still fun to play. So what's the big deal?
So,
I don't know. It was just like running around my head today as I'm playing. I'm like, why is everybody banging around about high scores and how this looks simple? This looks simple to me. It's just in 3D coming at me.
Everything that's really popular right now, especially a ton of stuff on the Switch, is all those little indie games, those little simple retro-looking indie games. So, like, how is this not just as fun? You know, Megadance, his thoughts on the Asteroids Recharge. I haven't seen it. I guess it's probably like that vector style. And remember, Intellivision has redone Asteroids as well, and it was one of the first trailers. So that one's it's playable. I don't know if it's done yet, but they have the one where it switches graphics. It goes from vector to the new school, kind of like Asteroids graphics. So I can't wait to see that one too.
So Jan asked me a really good question, and it's actually an interesting one that
Are you guys prepared to answer some hard questions about a supposed console that's coming out? We heard today about what was supposedly called a UI, which is a ubiquitous invasion. Everyone knows what UI actually stands for. This alien console cannot be allowed to reach the market, and I'm here as a sovereign citizen, a servant of the United States of America and the free world, here to stop Tommy Tallarico and his malignant, evil, destructive behavior.
I'm afraid we're just all lizard people here. We can't help you.
Yeah, if you throw that red powder on me, you don't want to see what happens.
you guys can make fun of me all you want, but I'm here as a servant of the truth, okay? And I have been trying to find out what happened to those kangaroos for over a year, and none of you people seem to think this is an important issue.
I am not going to tell you about the kangaroos. I know all about them.
The kangaroos were delicious, sir.
My gosh, what's I imagine?
Oh my goodness!
This is what happens, America, when you tolerate the intolerable and when you allow the unallowable, and the ubiquitous invasion it propagates itself upon the public with a scam that the likes of which the video games have never seen in the history of video games. And forget about the legal chameleon and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've never seen anything like this before. Oh my God! The natural enemy, the kangaroo. How dare you accost me with your brazen stuff?
What's happening?
Evil, vicious animal. My God, I see what's happening here. You people are. There's nothing that you will not do.
Gives us all anxiety, sir.
Your cult is proven evil. I win. Goodbye.
Oh my. Oh man,
you told us.
Back and jumping in here.
Wow.
Surprise. Just rants.
Wow.
His mind.
How did you let him in here? How did you let him in here? You kept your door unlocked, Chuck.
I did. He came in through the back.
I've said that many a time.
He was drawn in by the smell of cake.
Oh, you know what's sad is Jan asked me an honest question.
What do you ask?
Way back in the chat.
Yes, yeah, I was going to highlight that.
Yeah, there are a lot of good comments that we totally missed because of
Yeah,
Alex
we'll-
McCracken.
we'll pull this one up.
Koalas are taking up
What was Jan's question?
It was basically if you didn't have a family or didn't think of
Right.
a family, yeah, would you
It
still?
says do you think? All right, so this is
Here
Mike.
we go. Here it is.
Do you think you would still appreciate the Amico if you didn't have a family or played the original Intellivision?
I'm the perfect person for this when you're done. Like, I'm the guy.
Same here.
All right. So
Cyrus says that was weird. It was Cyrus. I don't know.
was,
that
it was
guy
very
just out of
weird.
his mind.
But he spoke a lot of truth. I have to say that, McCracken. He's nothing but a truth maker.
would I appreciate it? Maybe in the same way that I am appreciating the Polymega, the the Atari VCS. Like, I would put it kind of in that group of, oh yeah, it's kind of on my periph. Okay, in television, I heard about them, kind of thing. But I don't know that I would be as excited for it if it wasn't in television.
Yeah.
I just the honest truth. I mean, the Intellivision brand, because I grew up on it, and because when Tommy first talked to us about it 2 years ago on my show, he led with Astro Smash. I mean, it was like tugging at a heartstring, and so it's that's the key to it. It's like saying, would you really love a Trans Am if you didn't like Smokey and the Bandit? Yeah, it's a car, but you never want
That's
to collect
actually a
it.
great
because,
analogy right there.
Yeah, but I would have liked that Trans Am.
No, that is true, though. Yeah.
Even if I had if I didn't have a wow, we'll take some of that. Yeah.
He's gonna eat.
Whoa.
Woo! Geeks who never lets me down.
Maybe I'll
Pizza
wait.
time.
No.
So if I didn't have a family, I still would be excited for the Amico because of the Intellivision brand. However, without the Intellivision brand, I'm not sure I would be where I'm at now with it. I would be kind of looking at it. And honestly, I met all of you guys through it, so I don't even know that I would be in this great friendship with all of you if not for it, because it's just I would be still doing what I'm doing on an.
Well, I found everyone through Mike, so if you weren't there, then I would have found none of them.
So the Intellivision brand carries all of the weight of this for me. It's just the honest truth. Just the honest truth. Finally brought it up for everyone.
Take care, Mark. Thanks for stopping in, buddy.
Mark, it's
Hey,
great
Mark.
to meet you.
Thanks for coming in and hanging out, man.
And see, me, I didn't play the original Intellivision. I had a friend who had it. I have no nostalgia for literally anything. I'm missing that chip. Like I said in my review, my very positive review, or it wasn't a review, it was more like a first impressions hands-on thing. The reason why I was so ecstatic about it was because it really catered to my personal need, which is I have a bunch of friends that come over for parties. They're roughly my age, some older, some a little bit younger, but
Some
most
puppets.
of them, mostly puppets, others imaginary. Mostly the women, they're imaginary completely. But so when they come over, we have I have this big game night. And in the past, what I had to do is I even show in that video, I had to write out like every console I had and think of every game that would like work for this group and that group. Some people never used a controller before, others did. So the fact that I could get this console and that it would just cater to everybody, that was the win for me. So the Intellivision name doesn't mean anything to me. The family thing doesn't mean anything to me. What the system is doing as far as being a party box, as one of the people in this chat is the guy that originally said party box, something Block, I think his name is. That's why I'm really excited for it. Nick, I imagine you're somewhere there.
Sega Block.
Classy, what's happening?
Hey, Classy. And honestly, from my perspective too, because I have no history with the Intellivision. I have like no history with Atari. I barely have any history with the ColecoVision, and I own that because shortly after we got it, I ended up with an NES. So that was the first system I got really attached to. So I have like no background with this. I don't have any kids. I have pets. They're not going to play with me. They're going to gnaw on the controllers if they get their hands on it. And
You should make a video where you force them to play, though. Like, that would be a fun video.
They're like, it'd be jumping up and down on the controller. That'd be about it.
You take the cat's paws and you're pressing down on it.
Well, I don't have any cats anymore. I just have dogs.
Okay.
They do that thing like on the keyboards.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I didn't get into it until like, John and Si were talking about it, like, what the hell are you guys talking about? So I started kind of looking at it and I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I started digging into it more and I go, this looks pretty harmless. And some of these games actually kind of look like just old school fun because they remind me of like early NES games too. Because the early NES games, a lot of those were just like arcade high score things like Balloon Fight and Excite Bike and Joust and all those that even showed up on the NES.
Popeye.
Yeah, just score challenges and stuff like that. So, I mean, it appealed to me a little bit from that aspect. Now, would a younger kid gravitate towards those games? Maybe, maybe not. But there's other games there that are for that market too. So, I mean, it's got a good mix of stuff there that I feel like appeals to a broad amount of people. And I bash on every console because it's funny. Because it's funny watching you get angry, sir.
That's funny.
But yeah, I kind of came into it on my own from a standpoint of this is new. I'm curious about it. The more I dug into it, the more I go, well, this will make a nice addition to my game console collection. It's the same way I kind of looked at the Ouya originally and didn't see enough going on there that looked different from anything I couldn't get on. At that time, it looked like they were porting a lot of stuff from the phone onto it. And I'm like, well, I don't want that out of console. I want
there's nothing unique to it.
Yeah, I don't. It's not driving me to it. Kind of like the VCS didn't drive me to it because I thought the price point was too high. Now that I've seen it for like sub 300, I'm like, I'll pick one up. When I've got some free cash and I'm not in the middle of like Christmas and everything like that, I might pick one up because that seems more of a good entry point for me, right? Other people love that console. I'm not going to go bashing on that console because there's no point in it. People are having fun with it, and that's the whole point, right? So, I mean, let people find their fun where they find their fun.
No, sorry.
That's the VCS was the same way. When I saw that coming out, I grew up playing at my cousin's and also a buddy done industrial. Everybody had Atari but me. I did not have Atari. But I didn't hate the fact that was coming out. Like there was people trashing that pretty big. I actually saw that and went, wow. I never originally had an Atari. I got one later, but I never really, I always had to go somewhere else to play it. Intellivision was mine. But when they were like, we're coming out with this new VCS, I'm like, wow, what a concept. An old school company coming back making a console. I hope they do well, So I don't understand, how someone just is going to hate something because it's simple or it doesn't become the powerhouse of the new consoles. Like, I don't know. I don't ever wish any company ill will or want them to fail if they're seriously just coming out with something simple and fun. But being that said, to answer that Jan's question as well, I guess that's how I would treat it. I would still think it was pretty darn cool. Like if Coleco, and I know it's kind of been tarnished because of the Chameleon, but if Coleco came out with a new console legitimately again, I would probably buy it because I would be interested. And I never had any connection to ColecoVision as a kid. As far as I knew one person that had it.
I had one, yeah.
I never really played it or got into it ever. So, but I would still see that and go, man, I would like to see that successful.
This is actually a good panel for that question because you figure you've got Mike, who's the only non-failure in this whole group as far as creating offspring. So you have Mike, the family man. Then you have DJ, who's
it was even more funny. I was kind of chuckling with you before.
I was trying to figure out
face, and I'm like, no, it's just funny.
I was waiting to see where he was going to end that sentence.
Yeah. No, you have DJ C, who's like really nostalgic about the brand itself completely, right? I think that's fair to say. Nick is kind of like a tech connoisseur who wants to kind of play it all, see it all, try it all out, and like some of the old retro stuff. And then you have me, who has this very unique need for it. So I think that's a pretty good, panel for that kind of question.
Yeah, I mean that hits everything except for like the average like soccer mom who might be the market to buy that for her kids, right? You don't have anybody who's in that market that doesn't really do games but has messed around with it and gone, no, I kind of like this. This seems safe for my kids. This seems fun and easy for me to pick up and play and have a good time with them.
Real quick, Big Block is the guy. That's the guy. He's the good guy that came up with a party box. I'm sorry, Ned. Continue.
Oh no, you're fine. That was pretty much into my thought anyway. So,
ColecoVision was really cool back in the day. I thought it blew Intellivision away, especially with arcade.
Oh,
games.
absolutely. But you're talking about different. So that was
That
was a generation ahead of the Intellivision. I remember the first time when my dad brought home the ColecoVision and
Did you have that gauntlet joystick? I had that. The gauntlet.
I had that. I had the wheel, the turbo for turbo.
Yep.
I had the wheel, and then we had turbo. We had that. I didn't have the gauntlet thing.
That's so cool.
I had that, and then I had the expansion one, which was the Atari 2600 expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The main games that I remember off of that is I remember Time Pilot. I remember Turbo.
Great
now
game.
that you call it Turbo, because it's the one where you could shift the car and it looked like more racing the faster you went. That was a really cool game. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Smurfs. I had a lot of fun with
Smurfs
that
Adventure. Oh my goodness. Gargamel's Castle.
Venture. I think it was called Venture.
Venture.
And that game was
VENTURE.
hard. And I had a hard time with the game, but it was fun.
Yep.
Those are the
Cosmic Avenger.
And Zaxxon. I remember Zaxxon.
So
pretty well.
Zaxxon was the one. Zaxxon was the one that my dad brought home with the system. It was the first game I played on it.
Zaxxon
that must
still
have been
looks
beautiful,
impressive
man.
if you go back and look at it. For that time period, that game's
isometric,
really
like,
impressive.
Yep.
Went over the
It
walls, and
It looks.
I'm remembering the actual arcade versions of these games. Mr.
Yep.
Do was another one that
Mr. Do.
I heard
Mr.
everybody
Do.
played that on ColecoVision, but I
Yep.
that was my favorite in the arcade. So that to have
Donkey
that
Kong. I had Donkey Kong, which was
Yeah, I
the
think
true
we actually
arcade
had Donkey
version.
Kong as well. Yeah.
Donkey Kong Jr., which was a big one.
Can't remember if I had that one or not.
Cosmic Avenger, which was a really cool kind of 2D shmup. What else was there that I? Mousetrap.
Never played
remember that
Mousetrap.
one.
I haven't even heard of that one.
Mousetrap was really cool too. It's kind of like a lock and chase kind of game.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember Mousetrap.
I think what else? My mother, of all people, actually flipped the score on Ladybug, and we took a picture of it and sent
Oh,
it
my
to
mom
Coleco.
adored Ladybug. That's the one I keep harassing Tommy to bring to the Amico.
He said
'Cause
he's.
that would
said he was
she
going
would
to.
adore that game.
Jan has a question. Said, did any of the moms and dads at the Amico events have any bad reaction or negative reaction to the Amico? Do they think that the price $249 is too high? I don't even think that really even came up. I'm kind of talking about back at the Crayola event because the stuff we did was mostly gamers. But as far as I don't think anyone really complained about or talked about price. They more or less thought it was fun that they could see themselves playing with them and their kids.
I think I remember a couple people asking about it, and when I mentioned it, they were like, "Oh, okay." And then I go, "But it comes with 2 controllers and 6 games packed in." And they go, "Oh."
Like right.
Right.
And then any additional games are like $199 to $999, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, well that makes way more sense." The initial price, you're going to get hit with that, but it's going to, like you said, your games are next to nothing. Like,
Well, and the fact that it even comes with like 2 full-size controllers. I mean, we're not talking Joy-Cons here. We're talking 2 full-size controllers.
Right.
Right.
I think I will still I will still die on the hill that I think people don't understand that in the grand scheme of things, $249 is not as expensive as it looks when you put it up against everything else that's going to be sitting on the same shelf. When you're walking by an Xbox Series X, a PS5, a Switch, you're looking at $500-$600. You could be looking at if you're getting a Series S, okay, but even a Series S comes with 1 controller. It's you have to buy Game Pass to really enjoy it.
I think the bigger thing is about the Switch. I think that's what most people bring up.
That's the biggest point of contention,
Yeah.
and they always compare it to the Switch Mini, which is really not the same beast. Yeah, it's got roughly the same hardware. The light, yeah,
but you can't plug it up to a TV.
You can't plug it up to a TV. It's a nice portable little solution.
That's all it is.
You're still going to suffer from the same issue of potential drift in the Joy-Cons that are attached.
And those Joy-Cons are not
and
detachable.
those don't come off. So that's an entire repair of the unit if anything happens to it. And that's one of the main reasons I wouldn't pick one up now personally, because you can't just swap out and put new Joy-Cons on if you have a problem with them. You're stuck with those.
It's a totally different experience. And Panda, his video covered this. I mean, it's a different experience, which if you're into, great. I mean, my kids are not going to stop playing their Switches because we have this. They're going to play this.
I'm not going to stop playing my PC or my PlayStation or my Switch because I have this.
Unless Tommy's bringing Halo Infinite out on it, I'm not stopping playing my Xbox.
I can guarantee.
Honestly, that I would like to see that just to see how weird it would feel, because there's no way it would work that well. Even if you could get it to run and dumb down the graphics so it would work, but it would just be a fun experiment. You know what I mean?
Get it on 2600.
See, I bet you when this Amico comes out and I have one of my parties again, I guarantee you that right there would sell like 5 or 6 consoles immediately, because some of them have kids. So the fact that they were having they were having fun, it was easy for them, they had a great time, and then the fact that they can play that with their kids and they have nothing to worry about with the DLC, all that stuff, and that the games are cheap and stuff like that. That group of people in my house would eat that thing up. So I think as far as price is concerned, it just all depends on Intellivision's marketing. They just have to do their best to convince and to show what this system can do, and to the right people. And then that price doesn't seem as bad. Do I wish it was $50 cheaper? I've always been saying that, right? But they can do it. It just depends on the marketing. You just have to get the right people. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
I'm confident that the price of this system is going to drop.
Right.
Sure.
After it starts getting momentum, right? After they can start getting to where it's more cost effective to drop the price.
Right.
I can see them dropping the price on it.
It's got to get out the door first.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is the top price it will ever be, because this is its first launch price,
Right, and like all consoles, the price is going to lower
100%. And plus, they're going to, for the holidays, they'll probably drop $50 off of it or something. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying, the holidays come around and all these sales are going on all these consoles. I could see that happening here. Have a $50 rebate, or have a $50 in games or something. Buy the console, But yeah, I think that's.
As I said, after playing it, that $50, where before I went like, ooh, that's going to be rough. After playing it, became more of just an inconvenience to me in buying it. Once you play it, that $50 isn't that big a deal.
Right.
That's what I'd say.
Right. And but the whole 2 controller thing, the whole 6 game thing. I mean, even if the games would equal $5 a piece, that's still $35 just in the games. 2 controllers and the system. I just don't. I don't know.
Well, it depends who you talk to. If you're talking to a very religious family, for instance, that $250 is a godsend, like literally, right? Like it is thank God for this thing, because I don't have to worry about my kids playing something they shouldn't play. I don't have to worry about parental controls. I don't have to know how to use this thing. I can just give it to them, and I know it will just be the perfect babysitter in a sense. There's nothing to worry about. So for that kind of family, that $250 will be meaningless. That'll just be a great purchase. Where I think you run into the problem is when you get someone like me who does play Switch, who is a gamer, and if I knew nothing about, Amico, what it can do, et cetera, and I'm looking at the 2 consoles in front of me, well, graphically, I just go, oh, well, Nintendo, I know the name brand, and those games look great. I can play a first-person shooter or whatever on there. So I may look at that. So that's what I'm saying. It'll come down to the marketing, and if they do a really good job, I think they're not going to have any problems. It just depends on can they get out that message accurately to the right base, and then they'll be fine.
I think they can.
Yeah.
Potion asked
and JS Spade actually made an interesting comment about It's weird that the Amico's not really designed to sell loot boxes or TLC. You know what I call that? Refreshing.
Yes.
I absolutely call that refreshing, because if there's nothing more I know that the gamer community complains about more than loot boxes and crappy DLC that they don't want. Now, I'm not talking about stuff like Tiny Tina's, whatever, for like Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. That's worthwhile DLC. That's giving you a lot for your money. That's worthwhile. I'm okay with that kind of DLC, right? You want to expand on the game and create more content for that game that keeps me engaged in it? Sure. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Loot boxes, not so much. And to find something that's not going to microtransaction you to death or put this behind a paywall, or what was it, the red and gold color for the Spartan armor now is like $16 in Halo for red and gold,
And that the games are designed to, it's basically a gambling machine. It is designed to make you want to keep purchasing things.
Yes.
That's not a game. That's just a slot machine.
To randomly get things, they're not putting freaking Pachinko in my Astro Smash games, hoping I get like lucky and get the right pack of cards or whatever for my
and
whatever
figure
the
it
hell it is, or
to make a sequel of a game on the Amico, what's it going to cost you? $5 to $10? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like that DLC that you'd be spending anyway, let's say it's $15 for some game to get DLC. This, you're just going to get a sequel for $8 or $10 anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
it all balances out, but there's nothing in there that's predatory. Of course, there's some DLC that's fine. Of course, it's not every single game, but for me personally, I'm pretty anti that kind of predatory stuff. I just think,
and I'm sorry if I took it out of context and took it away you didn't think it was supposed to go, Jay. It just that's the point I latched onto, because I find it kind of refreshing that there's a console coming out that doesn't do that these days. I find it nice. Hopefully more people find it nice, and that becomes like a way people want things to go. If this console does nothing else but to limit loot boxes and stuff like that, I'm happy enough for that. And to some of the other guys' points, like Eddie's been making good points about there being cheap controllers and cheap games on the Switch. Yes, there are. There's plenty of inexpensive games on the Switch. There's plenty of indie games on the Switch. There's plenty of inexpensive controllers that work with the Switch, like the 8-bit controllers that are usually sub $50 and very high quality. I own multiple of them and use them all the time. But a lot of the indie games and a lot of the more simple games are still a little more complicated than almost every single Amico game that there is. And it makes the games on the Amico a little more accessible for the average consumer, particularly ones that aren't avid gamers that want to play. So from that standpoint, it's coming from a little bit more unique perspective than a lot of the regular consoles that we have out on the market currently. Now, whether or not that's for you and your family is up for you to decide whenever you get a chance to check it out, whether you check it out in a kiosk in a store when the thing finally launches, whether you see it in an event, whether you play it at a friend's house or whatever, right? That's up to you to decide how you want to spend your money and see if you think it's worth the money to you.
I'm just looking through this, a lot of stuff. And I see Eddie was talking about there's also casual games. I mean, but it doesn't, validate that it can't exist, and I think that's really what it is. It's up to that parent or that fan or that consumer. Am I buying an Amico? Do I want the more casual, mobile style, simple games, pick up and play, multiplayer, board game and cards type games? Or do I want Switch, which is more of a heavy gaming console? But yeah, there is simple games and stuff like that. But do I want the kids and family console that's simple, or do I want a Switch, And it really is up to, I'm not saying that both can't exist.
Can I provide an example that I always think is smart, but I have a feeling is going to come across very stupid?
Go ahead.
You mean like my armor battle news?
So I hope that this makes sense. So in my original Switch and Amico video, I was going to use this, but I deleted it because, again, I was scared it was a bad example. But I'll give it a share it anyway. So I do effects for a living, and I know it inside and out, right? Let's say right now, one of the biggest apps on the mobile market are beauty apps, right? So that you can basically just tap a zit on a photo and it magically goes away, right?
Yeah.
You've seen these apps all over the place. For that market, they love it. They get to make themselves pretty all day, and they just tap a little tap, boom, zit's gone. They look beautiful. Okay. I could argue, well, why would you use that when you can use Photoshop, which not only can do that, but it can also do so much more. You could make dragons. You could put them in big cities. You could do all these visual effects. You can do all this stuff. Well, here's the answer, because that person doesn't want to make big cities. They don't want to.
Because it's Photoshop and it's a nightmare.
Right. They don't want the learning curve. The whole thing would be intimidating to them. They would be very intimidated by that when they can just tap a little thing that it goes away. The end, right? So for them, they enjoy that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that example makes sense, but it's like you could make the argument. Yeah, well, the Switch it doesn't make sense. It does everything, and it's got shovelware. If you love shovelware so much, it has that too. But it has to do with your frame of mind and into what you're looking to get. The Amico basically gives you an experience and a market that just caters to what you're looking for what that casual market is looking for what that retro community is just looking for. Pick up and play. There it is. Nothing to think about. I know there's no DLC. I know there's no violence. I know there's da-da-da-da, so it's family friendly. There's nothing to think about at all. With the Switch, there is a learning curve for people who don't do this normal.
Don't own gaming systems or don't.
Right. Yeah. What we think is so easy.
There's a couple of good points in here too. That women by 70, not to derail, but to bring those up at some point too. One, that they do most of the purchasing for the family household, and they do about 70 or 80% buy about 70 or 80% of everything in America. So appealing to a soccer mom market is kind of smart.
And Eddie, we're not trying to compare it to the Switch at all. 100%.
I would never compare it.
I'm just saying that it can exist as.
I'm saying it gets compared to the Switch a lot of times.
Right, that's the thing.
I don't.
So I was going to type that in the chat.
I'm saying they're two different things. It's the opposite.
We're all saying that. What ends up happening is people discount people don't want the Amico to exist strictly because the Switch exists. That's what other people are saying. We're not saying that. Again, both of my kids have Switch Lights.
Yeah, I own a Switch. I'm not justifying it.
No one's justifying that.
Once again, we're not justifying.
No one is doing that.
Let's just move on from it at this point, because every time it brings up, we always get interpreted as being defensive, even when I don't feel like we're being defensive. We come off as defensive, I guess. So it's just not a good.
Yeah,
place to
I agree.
stay in headspace
I'm sorry. I'm as guilty as getting caught up in that. So let's move on.
So Brian F says, let's bring it up. I wanted to see Panda make a video of a cat playing Amico. I'm sure that's quite possible.
On it.
Let's see. Johnny Up. So that brings us back to how perfect the UI is for. Yeah, it really did. Well, it really was a sweet little UI, you know. Yeah. Let's see. CK says, honestly, the Amico have to sell at least 15 million to sustain itself. I don't know if that can. Maybe. Hopefully. I don't know.
Glad everybody knows their business model.
Yeah, because
I'm not sure if that number's accurate, but
number's not even close to accurate. But
I don't know the numbers enough to do that kind of estimate personally.
And like just bringing up the comparison because it was people arguing it in the chat. That's the only reason it's brought up. I don't compare it to the Switch.
Yeah, no. Again, none of us compare it to the Switch.
Oh yeah. So Eddie says he has a Switch. He's still buying Amico. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I think they're.
I'm in the same boat. I own a Switch.
I can walk upstairs right now and go grab both my kids' Switch Lights and bring them downstairs. Both of my kids have Switch Lights.
Is this like one of those stupid bots that keep showing up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. it came right below Rab's comment, so I was like clicking. I'm like, oh shit! I hope I didn't just block Rab.
Oh shoot!
No, but I got it.
Okay.
CK, I mean, sustaining interest is either going to happen or it's not.
Yeah, we're going to find that out.
Games or not, we'll find out when it launches. Yeah. Do I want to see the console succeed? Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be on this podcast week in, week out because this is time away from my wife and everything else that I get to spend time with friends, but it's also talking about a console that I'm eagerly kind of waiting to come out. Of course I want it to succeed.
Yeah. So
but I'm not the sole determining factor on that either.
And there is something that people have to understand, and I know that it's hard because the four of us have laid hands on it, right? So every one of us.
That sounds wrong when you say it that way.
Every one of us has played it, and so I get there's so to be fair to CK, I get what he's saying because when you haven't actually played it, it's hard because the thing's not out yet. I mean, let's call this what it is. It's not out yet. So what everybody else has to do is speculate. What I can speak to two things that I played Astro Smash, and I played Finnegan Fox, and I played Flying Tigers, and I played Battle Tanks, and I played Space Strikers, I played Evil Knievel, I played all these games. I can attest that 3 of my children played these games. I can attest that my middle son, who I was most concerned about with his autism and that thing like that, whether he'd like it or not, spent an entire weekend playing it and loved it. My 7-year-old addicted to, hooked on Shark like immediately. These are kids that play Minecraft and Planet Coaster and and Roblox and these things. But you can see it. Not to point to it again, but I've got an entire live stream showing my kids playing, showing the looks on their face. So I get what I honestly do get what CK is saying because there's a lot of speculation. I don't have to speculate. Nick, Phoenix, Chuck, the 4 of us don't have to speculate because we know.
I get his question on the speculation because all we can do is speak from our own opinion of it, right?
Right.
That's not the opinion of the consumer at large, which I don't think anybody can determine right now, right?
Nobody can. Nobody can.
Either people are going to enjoy these games and they're going to gravitate to it or they're not. And I've said this from the very beginning. The larger market is going to decide whether this console is going to succeed or fail. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's not going to be Pat. It's not going to be Tony. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be Mike. It's not going to be DJC that makes that decision. We're not even in the main market that I think they're really hoping is going to drive this console.
Yeah.
It's going to be the individual mom and pops. It's going to be grandmothers and grandparents. It's going to be some of the people that I saw at the Cariolo Center. There was an older couple that never played games at all, and they had an absolute blast playing Shark, which is about as simple as it gets. Those kinds of people are going to kind of drive this market, whether or not it wins or loses, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you think it needs to be a retro console, that's fine. I think they're still going to cater to that some, but they can't rest everything on the retro gamer market because I don't think it will succeed if it just puts everything into the retro gamer market. I don't think it'll work, man. I just don't. I just don't see it getting that market share, right? Now, again, I want it to succeed. I played it, had a blast with it. My wife played it, had a blast with it. Everybody I saw play it seemed to have a good time with it or went, it's way better than I thought it was. It's still not really drawing me in, but I can get why people would enjoy it. And that's where I think it could kind of win, right? At worst, people are going, meh, not really for me. I'd play it if it was at somebody's house. At best, people are going, man, I want one of these because I got friends that come over and we're just going to freaking get drunk and play emoji charades all night. And you know what? That sounds like a damn good time to me.
It actually was. I had a great time playing that. I was one of the ones I went, oh, that's not for me at all. And then I went over there going, oh, I'd love to play this.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question a little bit better or not, CK. I don't know if I danced around it or not. You let me know.
But Jan says you think the most expensive Amico game will be about 19. No, I think it probably I think no more than $9.99, basically $10 when it launches.
No. He's saying, what do you think will be the most expensive Amico game?
I think maybe I don't even think it'd be maybe $15 for something like a Cloudy Mountain or a Night Stalker or something that's in depth and a long. I
think you might hit 20 on something like say Earthworm Jim if they want to really do it nice.
Yeah,
and once again, in 20, you're probably going to be paying for a physical copy at that point, anyways. at $19.99. I mean, that's what these ones basically are $19.99. You know, with the coin and everything.
Right.
So who's to know? I mean, to be honest though, if they did an Earthworm Jim with like a collectible little statue or figurine and all this type of stuff, and made it really cool artwork and a poster or whatever it comes with, I'd pay $30 for that. You know, stop it.
It would be. I know it's probably impossible.
Yeah.
But it would be amazing if they could just put out at least a demo of Earthworm Jim on launch, like for every console that you could download. Just to
have them run around in like a world or something. That would
just like even if it's 1 or 2 little levels or something like that, work in progress. Like that would be that. I think you would get even more interest if there was something like that. I know that's probably impossible, but that would be great.
Right. I'd say like you can go further and have him be like in the menu constantly, like, hey, you know, but that would obviously licensing and all that type of stuff.
And see, Potion, that's totally valid, man. You play it at somebody's house. Maybe you find a couple of games eventually that you like. Maybe you pick one up later.
Yeah, that's
I'm
a good.
I'm not
Potion said makes
expecting
sense.
everybody to be an early adopter on this thing for sure. I'm expecting a lot of people to play it, and it'd be a sometime console that they play at somebody's house, and that's it. That's all it is for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A demo. Hey, I'd love a little Earthworm Jim. That actually would be kind of neat. But I wonder, didn't Tommy say there was gonna be like trailers or little game things where you could look and see like a trailer of a game, or is that not? Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, it was for anything interested in retro, they can get an Evercade or Evercade Versus. The Versus is a new console.
Yeah, everyone's loving the Evercade.
Yeah, I have the handheld version. I don't have.
I'm thinking of the.
Oh, I got my Versus. It showed up.
I actually have a question about the Evercade.
Yeah.
My question with the Evercade, what confuses me, I'm not saying anything bad because everyone loves it, and people who I respect their opinion love it, so I'm not crapping on it. The thing I don't understand is that it's a retro console, but for that market, why wouldn't they just play the original? Like, wouldn't that be the group that would want the original hardware, the original games, or like that's what I'm confused about? But it's working. Clearly, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
clearly
I think
I'm wrong.
I mean, you've got the with the re-energized line and coming out on the VCS and other markets, and people have been enjoying those. I mean, that's basically keeping to the core of those with some updated graphics, maybe a couple of extra power-ups here and there, and just letting that ride. And a lot of people have been really enjoying that. So I mean, that's a valid market.
Hey, yeah, it's doing great, and people love it. So, Godspeed.
Yeah, I think something like Evercade's great because you got NES, you got Sega, you got all these different 16 to 8 and 16-bit platforms on there, but you get to play them all on cartridges on a new system. Everything's reliable, and I think that was kind of the draw for me.
But that's my point. You're saying cartridges, right? Like, so you would think like that's only going to be nostalgic to a group that loves, like me, that loves the old stuff. I have tons of old stuff.
Right.
So with that in mind, well, I just want to play the original on the original console. That's where I was surprised that it did so well. I thought there'd be more people like me, but just like, well, I'd rather just play the original on my original cartridge.
I agree with that too, because that was kind of my first thought when I saw that come out. But then I was like, also, because you can plug it in a TV and play it too off of that.
But then I can also do it with my consoles, though.
Right, if you already have the consoles.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, if they had games that were hard to get, like, you know, some of the old rare Nintendo games or something, I get it. But
you got like the Namco collection too. The Sega Genesis Splatterhouse 2 and 3, those are like $200-$300 a piece on those.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That makes sense.
When you have stuff like that, at this point, you just want to bring Rab in and see what he thinks. Oh, there he is.
Hey.
Oh, my kids would not go to sleep tonight. What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
What's going on? Yeah, compilations in Evercade for $20. Yeah, so that it's saying it's just cheaper. Obviously,
yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
If you have those, I agree. Play it on the original stuff. But once again, like, yeah, and then that kind of goes to be actual that goes with the Intellivision collection because you can only do certain things and you have to have this controller. You can't play it on. But there is a collection on there, and they've modified it so you can. But
okay,
so I understand that point for sure.
Well, I've been thankfully wrong on that because people love it. And like I said, everyone that I respect their opinion has only said good things. It's making me want to maybe get one too. So
yeah,
good on
Versus,
it.
Yeah, the
I
Versus.
pick one up. The Versus, I mean.
Yeah, I passed on the Evercade itself because I have RetroArch, and I have all those, all the games I want to play sitting on my shelf. So, I can play those on my phone with my Razer Kishi. I have my Xbox One that I converted to a RetroArch machine, and I have the actual games I own. So that's the only reason that I haven't. I looked at the Evercade. I kept looking at it, and the other piece of the original, the Evercade when it originally came out, it was only like NES and Sega and a little bit of TurboGrafx. There were no arcade ports. Is really what I wanted. With the Versus, they started bringing out arcade ports, which is nice. But then again, I wanted a Polymega too, and then they got priced out of my wheelhouse. So
yeah, the Polymega is another one that personally for me, particularly since you have to put like the discs in there to load them up so that you can emulate them and stuff like that, that becomes almost as expensive as trying to use like OG hardware because they're still going to find the discs and all that, and that's the most expensive part.
The Polymega is the one that you can like Voltron together to put like combine every console together.
Yeah, you can swap out modules and stack modules and all that other stuff. Yeah, and it does closer to. I think it does closer to hardware emulation. I think it's closer to FPGA than it is like standard emulation, which makes.
Have they been able to get Saturn?
Yes. Polymega is Saturn out of the box.
Wow. Okay.
Saturn, PlayStation, TurboGrafx, Neo Geo CD. Sega CD.
Because isn't Sega Saturn like the holy grail? That's the hardest one to emulate, right?
It was.
It's pretty hard to emulate. Yeah.
3DO.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. The current version of RetroArch that I have, I was able to, because for whatever reason, I was having a really difficult time pulling Panzer Dragoon footage off of my Saturn. For some reason, I think the disc. I just needed to clean the disc. But while I was doing that, I actually put the disc in my in here and ripped it and played it on RetroArch on this PC, and it played great. Like you couldn't tell. So
I'm surprised someone's not come out with it would be so hard. I understand this, but like a third-party Intellivision controller to play on a PC or play on these collections or emulate.
I think I thought I sent somebody this. I think there's a dongle you can get that you can attach your. Don't quote me on this, but I think you can attach your controller into it, and that'll go into your PC.
See, I've never heard of that. I know they made like something like that to play on, like to play your flashback controllers on your original Intellivision 2. Because those were removable, but like I never knew of like an actual.
Intellivision should make one.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. But then I don't know. But if they're going to do these whole collections on Amico, the old ones on Amico.
In the meantime,
yeah, right. Or like, but I'm thinking just for like the Evercade Versus, like that would.
Sure.
Then you could just release all that on Evercade Versus, double the money you're making off of that plus the Amico. Like I don't know. I think that'd be a great idea to do a third party controller or make it just for Evercade Versus for your Intellivision collections. Oh my God. I mean, you go a step further. I mean, well, you don't really have to. I mean, there's already Atari controllers made by a million companies, Anyways.
Side note, I've actually recently been playing a lot of the original Intellivision because this is all new to me because I'm making a video. And I'm actually really blown away by how advanced those old Intellivision games were. Like so many of them had like POV where you could switch to the back of the plane and look at your enemy and shoot them that way. Like there's all these. They really utilize the remote controller buttons where you can change your angle. You can there's stuff about where you can send your fleet and stuff like that. I was used to really Atari, which was just really basic.
A button and a joystick.
Yeah, that's honestly why you had the keypad for like the Intellivision and the ColecoVision as well.
Yep.
Is so you could do more advanced actions like that. That was the design idea behind it at the time.
Yeah.
Not very ergonomic, but functional.
Yep.
And before the Intellivision, you just didn't see these kind of games on consoles. I mean, they were basically looking at like, if a game came out like Sub Hunt, it would just be, shoot the submarine at the top of the screen. They were looking at arcade inspiration. You look at like the APS library, look at the RCA2, you look at the Studio 2. The Bally Astrocade was like a high-end computer, but it didn't really have like Intellivision was looking at the computer industry of the late 70s and like, we can bring these kinds of games. That's why you see like Utopia. That's why you see B-17 Bomber. You see strategy games. You see these games that are really like, you know, smart thinking games that Atari just couldn't do. That the VCS was not able to kind of perform all of those multifunctions. So you never saw those kinds of games. So yeah, there was a lot of depth because that was basically like the first real time you saw computer type play, like strategy games, kind of start to filter into a console.
Agreed.
As a matter of fact, that went away from like the NES. I don't even think many of them popped up on the NES. There might have been one or two. Are there a couple like turn-based strategy games on there?
Yeah, in the later
many.
80s, you gotta remember when the NES came out, all of the US-based publishers that they turned to the computer industry. You know, the console industry was dead, so they turned to the computer-based computer industry, and they were making games, you know, like King's Quest and you know all of these strategy games and turn-based games and flight simulator games, role-playing games, all on the computers. It wasn't until the NES started to do really well in like 87, 88 that you had like your Broderbuns and your I don't know if Microprose, but some of your computer companies started to come back and take a look and like, okay, we can make something like that for the NES. But you know, there were some Japanese games that were doing it on the Famicom early on. Some of those were getting ported as like, we'll take a chance on this as a license for the Western audience, but we know they like, you know, shooters, bang bang, and you know, the odd adventure. So it just took a long time for it to catch up. The crash really hurt everything over here.
And did the original? My voice just popped there. Did the original Intellivision? Were they like the first game to actually have a menu? Yeah. Were they like the first games to have a menu screen? Because I've been playing a ton of Atari 2600 and a lot of Intellivision, and I was always like, where is there any title screen on an Atari game? And the Intellivision seemed to do it. Is Intellivision known to be one of the first to actually have? I just, that question's for Rab, because I think you'd actually know this answer.
If it's not Intellivision, I would look at like the Bally Astrocade, because that was such a high price. I mean, that was like a $400 system back in like 1978. So they were like really like, this is an affordable computer. So if there's anything that has it, I think look at the Astrocade. Yeah, but I don't think anything on the Atari. Definitely, you know, Magnavox had like one developer making games, so they didn't.
Wouldn't the 5200 potentially have that? Because I know they were like one of the first ones to have like a pause.
Yeah, they may have, but wasn't the Intellivision before the 5200? I don't know that answer.
Well, they came out right around the same time.
They did.
Okay. 79.
Yeah.
And 81, late 81 for the 5200.
Wow, I didn't. At the same time, they were still selling 2600s.
Yeah, the 2600 was actually still selling all the way through, I want to say, the 7800.
92.
It was like, was it 92? Really?
Yeah,
92.
because they even in 89.
I remember they shrank it down and kind
the
of
junior.
Yeah, the junior. That's what it was.
They actually had that game. I forget. Maybe it's called Quest or something like that for the Atari 2600. That was kind of like a space Zelda. That was like one of their last games they made. I don't know if you played that. And that was still on the 2600.
No.
I remember Star Master.
No, it's actually a really impressive game for the 2600. After the show, I'll find out.
Some of those early consoles, they had games out for a long time. If Intellivision had games coming out up till like 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Intellivision had their second run. They went for a bit. I remember them they were bringing back the 2609, like the original. Well, it was the like the Intellivision 3 or Super Pros, but they were bringing them back into that model into Toys R Us's, and I remember getting a rain check and it never happened, and that's when they finally just stopped manufacturing them. But that was like mid 90s. I was like, oh my god, or close to the mid. I was like, oh my god, they're bringing them back and they're going to resell some Intellivision. So I was like, I'll buy 2 of them because now I'm able to like buy them my own. And then I went up to Toys R Us. So like, no, we never got these in. I'm like, but it's advertised right here on your paper, and they had it in their paper. And I was like, okay, well, and they gave me like 2 rain checks. And because they did that back then, and they never called, they never showed up. Every time I went there, they said, nope, haven't got them. We just never got those shipped. And then next thing you know, they're not out of business, but they said they were going to stop doing consoles and just sell stuff online. And
so was it the 5200 based on the Atari and like 400 ST?
400.
Okay,
computers.
Reb's nodding, so that's correct. Yeah, I thought it was basically that same hardware, just in console format. Yeah.
Was it I thought it might have been the 800. I'm not.
Was it the 800? That would have been way better because the 400 was really affordable at the time. That was like the dirt cheap model. The 800 was a little bit more swanky, but still pretty affordable.
Maybe that's it. Secret Quest. I'll take a look on the old phone-aroo. Let's see.
Secret Quest.
So Secret Quest came out in 1989.
Yeah, that would be it. Let's see.
Why don't I,
Yeah, that's
why am I
it. That's
blanking
it.
on-
Okay, so it was an Atari 800. It wasn't 800.
played
Okay.
it.
Why am I blanking on that game?
Thanks, Cyrus.
Yeah, it's actually a really impressive because I have the Atari collection and they give the history on it. Like this was their attempt to show that it still could not necessarily compete against Nintendo, but it still had some legs basically. And for what it was, it is kind of impressive.
And it was on the 2600.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, they did something to the cartridge. You know, they added more whatever science to it.
This is a perfect
Yeah,
example.
this is a wild. So this is cool looking. I don't remember this game.
This homebrew from Audacity Games, the people
came out.
that did the
David Crane and
Crane.
Oh
Yeah,
right,
and,
right. Circus Convoy.
Gary Kitchens.
There he is. Yeah, and the Circus Convoy. This is an incredible game to be played on a 2600.
Yeah, I
that's my
saw
vote.
who somebody was streaming that. I thought I don't know.
Papa
if it was
Pete was.
Papa Pete.
He was
That's
streaming
right.
it. That's why I didn't open mine. My buddy got one and he was playing it. And then I watched Papa Pete stream it for like an hour or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna keep mine in shrink wrap. Like it looks awesome, but I want to keep it as a keepsake at this point and keep it in the plastic. But yeah, it looks fantastic. So that kind of shows that any of these the Intellivision homebrews blow any of the old Intellivision games out of the water. Not all.
Well,
of
they
them.
even ported like a Castlevania over to it, or at least a couple stages of it, and it looks amazing.
Looks pretty darn like.
And Eddie made a comment that the Amico is something different from any console that's ever been made, which is why it's frustrating that so many people continue to compare it to other consoles and you don't know why. Well, I think I can shine a little bit of light on that because it's the same way you learn about anything else in your life, right? You take any prior experience you have and then you start to kind of imprint that on whatever new thing you're trying to learn, and then you start learning the differences as you go along. So a lot of people are going to get caught up with comparing it to other consoles and other things that they've already played before because that's the only basis they have because they've not played it yet. We do the same thing here to a certain extent, primarily because people keep going, well, this is the same price as that and it's only going to get cheaper. And this is the same price as that, but it's going to be cheaper. And this has just as cheap games, and this has just cheap games. So if you want to go into that arena, we'll go into the arena with you a little bit, understanding that the two things aren't the same. But since people want to start drawing comparisons, you have to go to where the common ground is, right?
Right.
So that's how we end up there. Does that make
and,
more
and
sense?
then right, and then they say, well, why are you comparing? Because
Well, we
brought it
always
up.
compare it to this when we don't even
We
use
have
the
to.
word compare because every time someone will say, but if I can do this on the Switch, then why do I need this? That's the only reason why we'll bring up the Switch. I think we all
Right.
agree we're not
They're not
comparing
the same.
the two.
They're
I think we all love the Switch except for Mike, but I think the rest of us love the Switch.
Except for Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
Okay, right. I love the Switch. I've been playing
Eddie,
like crazy.
no. You misunderstand me, sir. It is not better. It is different.
Different. Yeah, I was going
Yeah,
to
Right.
say
different.
What he's saying
Different.
is
It's not
that
better.
I don't know anybody who has said, and I don't know anybody within our circle who has actually said it's
Well, no,
better than a Switch.
I've seen it in chats where people constantly.
But I'm talking about within us that talk about this stuff,
Yeah.
Regularly. I don't know any of us, the five of us, OEB, Papa P, anybody. I don't know
Who's
anybody who
OEB?
actually. I'm sorry, Classy.
Classy.
Gaming Money.
There we are.
Sorry,
now.
Classy.
There it is.
Sometimes it comes out,
Monsieur Gamefront.
but I don't know anybody who has uttered the words, "The Amico is better than the Switch."
No.
They just haven't.
I
It's a
love my
different
Switch.
experience.
I just think it's it's completely
What
different.
most of us have
teaching.
said was, while our kids own a Switch, they're going to love this too. And so people have to do this. Well, why should they? Why should they? One, I remember somebody made in one of their dumbass videos, literally said, why should his kid like the Amico when he's got a Switch? I mean, he literally said that in the video. Like that is so again, that's where the comparison comes from.
Yeah.
I think
Nobody
to go
is
back to
doing
go to
that.
Eddie's
That's
current point here. I
But
think
nobody is doing that. They're
Yeah.
they're saying that in the grand scheme of things, I know, Panda. I know. In the grand scheme of the overall arching thing of somebody walks into a store, sees the Amico, sees the Xbox Series X, sees the PS5, sees that the price of the console is not this big shocker that's going to drive people away from it. That's just not going to happen, and that's the point that
I like Big Block. He says it the best. He says it the best.
Like Booth, I like a lot of them. Yeah,
says like gotta collect.
That's why it's a party box.
He's gotta collect them all. Someone was saying, let me bring this other one up.
I think Eddie's comment about the games being more affordable and cheaper too. Well, I mean that's a valid point that's a little more valid point of discussion.
You go back and forth in a lot of those. I'm just it's you either like it or you don't. It's really
right at this point.
Yeah.
You're right. Now,
but there was Jan. Was it Jan or some? Oh. So a lot of people were asking this, so we're going to go back. I don't know if any of us really even know this because this would be more in television.
I also don't
care.
care.
Think the magic number units need to sell
don't
to
know.
be profitable. Yeah, I have
don't care.
Clue.
That's not our.
If I don't make money off it, I don't care.
Well, I think people are wondering. Yeah, right. No, right. No, but I'll make.
It's like getting excited when a movie makes money. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care how much Spider-Man made over the weekend.
But I understand. I think what people are saying is that if they want it to be successful and keep going, it would have to be so many.
Yeah,
and to be honest, Tommy might have mentioned that at some point. I'd have to go back and look.
No, from that perspective, but it's not a. It's.
I don't even know what Xbox
it's in the hundreds
to be profitable. I don't even know those numbers. Like what?
I want to apologize. That came out. I did not. I'm not. That was not directed towards Jan.
I think Rab has an answer here. Can we let Rab?
Yeah, sorry, Rab.
Up here?
If you want an answer to that question, and it's not a firm number, but right now, in order for Intellivision Amico to be profitable, to be sustainable, the number is in the hundreds of thousands. Now, every month that they delay, they are spending another, several $100,000, close to $1 million on their staff, on revenue, on rent, on taxes, on all sorts of expenses that they have to spend. So the longer we go out without a launch, the higher that number goes. But right now, they are realistically looking at hundreds of thousands of units. It might be 400,000, it might be 500,000. It's not what Xbox is doing. It's not what PlayStation is. They are nowhere near that game. They are in a game where, look, they can hire a team of salesmen that go out and work on commission, that play on a weekend, play with the system, go to a mall, play for 4 hours, show people kind of what it is. Maybe they pick up 2 or 3 sales. And for them, that is a sustainable, well-serving model that they can work on in addition to kind of, putting this in the stores and people who are interested are picking it up. They're not looking at like the same abyss that 3DO was looking at with the $700 system. Who's going to buy that? They're not looking at like, okay, the Wii U, it only sold 13 million. That's a failure. I think we have to look at this. This is a tiny system looking at a tiny market, and it's got a whole bunch of options in front of it. So the number for viability, small.
Yeah. So that's not as much as I kind of thought. So yeah, there we go.
Where's Mike going? What did I say?
No.
Mike says, what happened to OEB? I don't know what that is. What's an OEB? Like a Pete?
I don't know, but I do love that classy gaming fun.
Classy gaming fun, guys.
Classy.
I love him.
Classy.
That's classy, sir. It's classy.
And to answer that earlier question about why does Panda make videos about dog parties, for the fans, okay? He does it for us fans. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. For the one person in the universe that respects quality adult entertainment.
Octane had his.
We got no problem discussing things so long as the conversation stays civil. It's totally cool, man.
Heck yeah. Thanks.
It's when everybody starts pointing fingers and stuff that we got to move on because it's not
like what?
It's not helping anybody at that point, and that didn't happen. So cool.
Yeah. It's just the circular stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
Mike says, "Who the heck is classy?"
Not you, Garvey.
Yeah.
Whoa! Hey, shots fired.
Oh, John's still here writing
John's
code.
still
Well, he's
here
got the
writing
stream playing
code-
on the side.
Writing code with the stream
Nice.
on the
Alright.
side. Nice.
Writing code.
Stash is in here for the long haul.
See Amigo be in the comments, second or third console. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, but you know, and like I said, going after that, like we said, the soccer market, that's going to be their first or only, maybe, you know. But yeah, a lot of us, like gamers that are already gamers, yeah, it's definitely going to be our second, third, fourth console.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't honestly, I don't think they're
If you
too
like
worried
it.
about the retro market because I think they know a lot of the retro market is for the most part interested or at least on the fence, right? Like you're either going to end up buying it after you play it with somebody at somebody's house, or you see one and you go, okay, that looks pretty tempting. That doesn't look too bad. My budget allows it, and I like collecting consoles. I'm going to pick it up, right? Because that's how a lot of the retro gaming community does things, right?
Yeah.
Like I've seen people pick up consoles that they're like, I don't play it, but I love owning it, right? That's just how we are. So
Yeah, I mean, I picked up Sega Master System. I never had it growing up. I knew it existed.
That's such a good machine.
See,
Yeah.
so you must have had it growing up.
No. I discovered it later on and was blown away, like how much better it was than the Nintendo, like graphically, and some of the games were a little bit more complex.
honestly, I
I
don't think
played
it compares
through, like,
that
3 games.
favorably to the NES as far as like controls and graphics. But that's been my limited exposure to its game library. I've only tried a handful of games from the Master System. So
You don't think they look better than the Nintendo?
Some
Better
of them,
color-
yes,
better
some
color
of them,
palette.
no.
Yeah.
It depends.
Better
color
sound.
palette, definitely. but-
Better sound.
Yeah, I mean, it had more channels, but I don't think this. I don't know. It's arguable.
I mean,
I like the tones of the NES better. Than
I think the
Master
biggest
System.
problem that I had
Yeah,
with
I
the
grew up with
Master
superior
System
in every
versus
way.
the NES
Controller?
is well, not that because I'm emulating a lot of it, but the controls, like how fast the character moves and how fast they stop, just the responsiveness didn't really feel
Hey, it did.
quite right on a lot of Master System games I played versus the NES, where most of them are usually really tight. Right?
Well, I prefer the
felt
NES.
more-
I was just blown away by how good. Like, I'm surprised that the Master System did so poorly, at least here.
because
It
it had
was the
no,
They
cover
had
art.
no
that
marketing
cover.
It had
budget.
no
They
third-
didn't
it
do
had no-
marketing right.
They
it
had
had no
Tonka, they
third
were
party.
going under.
Well, they had no third party support.
Right.
And that,
Well,
that's
Nintendo
crazy.
also weren't they pulling all sorts of corporate schemes against Sega and Toys
Oh,
R Us?
they
and
did
all
that. They did that to
There's
everybody
gotta
all the
be
way up
something.
through
Yeah,
like
there was-
1995.
Yeah, the
Nintendo
biggest
was
issue.
ruthless.
Yeah, they did not allow you, if you were a third party. You had an exclusivity clause with them.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of sentence.
You'd
That's
lose.
why.
You'd lose your Nintendo license, seal of
Yeah.
quality. You couldn't make games.
Yeah.
And
That's-
with like
that's where
with
Tenga
like
came in.
61 million units sold by the end of that particular war versus what 4 to 10 million units, you didn't want to lose the Nintendo license.
Right.
Like, you didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the company that saved Sega in that regard was of all companies EA, because back in the day, Electronic Arts, Sega was
They-
way overcharging for their licensing, and they got Sega down to such a low licensing fee that third parties started going over there and telling Nintendo, "We don't care, because this is where the future is."
Yeah.
And Nintendo ended up dropping the exclusivity clause. There's a game historian had a whole big thing on it. I really enjoy.
I was going to say
Good
that was
stuff.
closer to the Genesis era because that's where they started
Mhm.
doing sports games and they started teaming up with EA.
Yes,
That's
where
when they broke in.
Sega,
That's why you had
those
Sega
little
yellow
Sports
tabs.
popped in and
Yep.
all that.
that's
Yeah.
when because they reverse engineered the
Yep.
lockout and the whole. Remember
Mm-hmm.
Ballistic and that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Ballistic,
Yeah.
Activision's little secret reverse engineering of the Sega stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Remember this? This is the picture of the new console that they're building right now.
Wow.
Isn't
Wow.
that amazing?
By the way, speaking of wood grain, since we're looking at a wood grain console,
No, I'm
that
kidding.
new picture,
This is really the new one here. It's-
Whoa.
Nice.
that I love that,
This
man.
is so they. This
That
is
looks
from the
so
production. I guess the limited production run or the start of the production run to see what they're going to look like, the test run or whatever you want to call it, something like that. So this, look how beautiful that freaking wood grain logs, dude.
Yeah, I had to pipe in on Facebook and go, you know what? I never thought I'd say this about a wood grain console, but that is beautiful.
I mean, it looks like rich mahogany.
It looks like we need we all
really
need
like
velvet
how that
smoking
turned out.
jackets.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like a cigar.
Yeah, you have some nice
Cognac.
nice 30-year-old scotch and a cigar.
It every time I go
So beautiful.
start thinking to myself, man, but that graphite black, man, but that graphite black.
I
I
got
see
one
a
of those.
picture. I see a
Black is
picture like
great.
this.
One of those
It
too.
is, but then I see a picture like that, and I'm like, all right, I'm glad that I picked the wood grain.
John even said that picture needs a glass of whiskey on the side. It does. It totally does.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like
family
2
friendly
ounces
for
with
you.
a big ice cube and like a nice tumbler glass, man. There you go.
That. Saggy.
That's
That,
like
I think that thing looks. If anything, it's just a beautiful looking
That's
thing.
family friendly for you, John.
Yeah.
Put
the
Correct.
bed and Amico.
Yes. That's
Oh
when
my
you. That's when you bring out the ghost of George Plimpton and you have him sitting in that chair with a glass of whiskey.
Yeah, I think that's what basically Tommy posted is that's kind of what they're going to look like as because this is like the final kind of run look of them. So I'm excited.
It's gorgeous.
Is so right now it's in the manufacturer's hands to kind of get it manufactured and give us a date when they'll be done. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. That is awesome. Families are made with whiskey. Speaking of, people were talking about music in here. I did want to kind of debut this. I already have a video of it on there, but if no one has heard the holiday song I made, the Intellivision Holidays, I'm going to play it for you guys right now, if that's cool.
Do it.
It is a free song. I'm not trying to sell anything. It's a free song, free download at djcgamestudios.com. And I have a video on YouTube of just the song as well. But I'm going to show it to everyone. So if you guys are interested to see this journey of me and Santa, here we go.
Oh, hello, it's Santa. I want to tell you about a gaming memory and a great story.
Hey, hold on. Hey,
Hold on there.
DJC here. We're gonna tell my own story.
Well, yes, I remember that one, but
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's a great
very
one.
pleasant, Mr.
Oh, it's
DJC.
hilarious. It's hilarious.
Okay, then, I guess
Let's just roll
you
it.
are very disappointing.
No,
sir.
nope. Well, it's gonna be funny though. Roll the song. What's up, everyone? I'm DJC, the devastating Just Cause Studios, that's me. So grab an eggnog and a candy cane. I'm gonna take a little trip down memory lane. Back in 81, a department store. I only had a couple games, wish I had some more. Walking through electronics, but I almost passed. Then I did a double take, saw through the glass. At the counter with lights, boxes underneath, draped with garland and tinsel and a big silly wreath. As I leaned on the counter with my eyes all wide, wish I owned every single box inside. And I begged my mom, let's bring one home. She said, you better ask Santa. Well, when in Rome, the line for Santa, it was mighty long. But this ain't no board games and it sure ain't Pong. Intellivision games that were new to me, only Santa can make it happen for little DJC. Night Stalker, auto racing, Vectron's weird. The line's finally moving, I can see his beard. Intellivision holiday, make some noise. Playing blocky games with the good girls and boys. Tis the season, Christmas time is here. Making new gaming memories every year. I'm next in line in this odyssey. Gonna be a great Christmas for my friends and me. More fun, more memories, and more new games. I like locomotion, setting up tracks for trains. Santa looked at me as I sat on his lap. He said,
Maybe you should sing. You sure can't rap.
what's this? My eyes welled up as he spoke.
Oh, little DJC, it was just a joke.
Listen, Santa, don't have time for this now.
Hey, you want toys? Settle down, wow.
Here's the deal, new Intellivision games. And I pulled out my list and I spoke the names. I'll take anything that I can get. Utopia, Cloudy Mountain, but not roulette. Frog Bog, Horse Racing, Space Battle 2. I know you can do it, I believe in you.
Listen, little kid, you don't have to shout. Maybe I can if the store doesn't sell out.
Why can't he do the job? I did my part, so I left him with a special gift, a fart. Intellivision holiday, make some noise. Playing party games with the good girls and boys. to wear. The cool new graphics better than most. I'm thwarting the rebels and fishing boats off the coast. Alien ships are in my sights. Spiders and bats in a maze of fright. I wonder if Santa can bring this joy. Intellivision is serious, it's not a toy. Music synthesizer, computer module 2. More games for that, I'll need those too. Will Santa bring baseball disc press button tap? Or is he still mad cause I let it rip on his lap? Well, there's no reindeer that I could see. I guess no games for young DJ C. Christmas morning came to my surprise. My dad bought 4 games, we were none the wise. Be thankful for your family, but that's just me though. More memories in the future playing. Intellivision holiday, make some noise. Playing blocky games with the good girls and boys. 'Tis the season, Christmas time is here. Making new gaming memories every year. Intellivision holiday, make some noise. Playing blocky games with the good girls and boys. 'Tis the season, Christmas time is here. Making new gaming memories every year. Well, Santa, thanks for joining me on this journey. That was a long time ago.
You farted on my leg.
Well, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and that just proves that family conquers all. It's just all about being together, being with the family, and making those memories.
But I'm immortal.
Yeah, well, I don't care if you're an immortal being. It doesn't matter. You didn't really help me get my television games.
Well, that
But Merry
doesn't
Christmas
matter.
to you.
Well, that's very nice and Merry Christmas, but
Yeah,
who
well.
cares? I'm gonna go on my sleigh.
Have a great time.
No, well, come on now.
I'm gonna be playing some Amico.
Well, what can I play? I don't even want to play. I don't want to play.
Don't be a hater, Santa.
Oh. Hey, it's Santa!
That is disconcerting.
Oh my God! It is,
Never do that again, Rob. Oh my
fearsomely
God.
evil.
That is terrifying.
I gotta put my hat back on.
Oh, Rab is Jewish.
He like therapy.
Whoa, and there's a hat behind it. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa! It really is him.
We rock everything over here.
you got the split holidays, right?
Oh, that's
Double
okay. That
holidays.
makes sense. Makes sense.
That's a
We don't.
great song,
This is why
man.
it's all
It is a
drab
great
behind
track.
That is
Tab sounded farts.
me. Plot twist.
Hey, when
Plot
Santa
twist.
doesn't,
Santa.
when Santa doesn't give you your television games, refuses to,
You fart on his leg.
you fart in his lap and you walk away.
You're welcome.
Plot
I feel
to
like
twist.
we're giving bad life advice now. I mean,
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
the
hopefully
plot-
no one,
the plot
none of
twist
the
is-
chat sitting on Santa's lap anytime
No.
soon, I hope.
The plot twist is that Santa was actually Art Bigfall.
Yes, yes. Yes, I lost faith in him, but I didn't care at the end because he didn't give me it was my family that got the games, not him after all. That's not very nice. There's no kids watching. It's 11:30 at night.
Crocker's a laid off elf who's just got it in for him.
Oh my goodness! So I would. Anyone else have anything more on the IO, the UI, or the
IO.
or a deep dive on Missile Command, which I
Did
thought
you guys talk about with the UI about like the games that are like you can see the games that are not that you don't own, that you don't
Right.
have to go to a separate store. I think this is a very big deal that people will kind of realize what Amico's doing for some of these small publishers. They're like, why would you put your game on the Amico? Because every time someone who owns the Amico turns on their system, they are seeing all those games in that action category that they love or that sports category that they love. They see those other games that they haven't got, and they're like, $6, why not? It's such an impulse momentum thing that is like, it's always there. And anytime there's a new game that drops, they're going to have that right on their home screen, but also in those categories, it pops up right there. It's a brand new, flashy new game. So I think it's doing something very innovative. And one of the things I think Amico is poised to do better than some of these other systems is highlight what these games for their system are. When you have 5,000 games for a system, a lot gets lost. With Amico, you've got 50 games, 60 games, 200 games at some point. You don't have a bunch of stuff that gets lost. I just think it's a better proposition for some of these smaller developers. So I think there's going to be a lot of developers that are looking at Amico like, it might be a good platform for them. It's a good platform, a good guarantee of income if it matches what Amico wants to put out. They're looking for a sports themed game, and they're like, okay, we'll do a bocce game. So they work on a bocce game, and it'll sell.
yeah, and I think honestly, it's a good platform for a lot of developers to start out on. because it's going to be much easier to end up in, say, the
Yeah.
featured section, which was another big deal on there of showing what was new and featured that week. On top of people just being able to cut their teeth on game development, but something that's more simple and streamlined, and be able to spin that up into more and more complicated games that they may not put out on this system, but they'll put out on like another more advanced system. Sony system, Microsoft system, Nintendo system, or whatever happens to be out at the given time, right?
What were the categories on the UI?
Look at Couch in the Woods.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, there was like action, family, sports.
They made Space Strikers.
I think they had board games. I think board games was like its own category.
Yeah, they had action. I know sports. You did a favorite. You had a favorites you could put in there.
Yeah, you could do your favorites. You could do my games or something like that too. I think that was like a list, and I think you could make your. Well, they didn't mention anything about making your own categories.
Well, there's a favorites that you could, basically.
Yeah, you could do
making your
favorites.
own
But there was family, sports, action. Was there kids as well? I think.
I thought there was.
Yes,
kids,
that was
but
part of family. I probably
family. I think is probably what.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they showed the difference between like the physical ones, the ones that had a physical copy, that when you scan those, versus like a normal like digital purchase or digital download, or it would show the coin rotating, it would show the box art, it would tell you like what number value was of the physical one that you bought. That I thought was kind of cool. I thought that was a nice little Benny that they didn't have to do, but was kind of nice to do.
Yeah. So what if you have like 12 copies? Like if you just want to buy out all of the Brain Duel out there, and you've got like 12 copies of them.
I have no idea.
You're gonna have like all these globes, or
probably
no
you
idea.
have a coin and a special number for each of them, huh?
Maybe you'll be able to cycle through all the coins on it and all the numbers that you got. Maybe I have no idea. I don't know if they thought through that.
Well, I think as they get more games, they might have to separate. I mean, they don't have to have a separate store, but they may have to separate the games for purchase out. I mean, if you get 35, 40 action games, and you've got to filter through all the ones you have, or at least have a filter for the ones that you own.
You know what they do, Mike? The stuff that they've been showing you for 2 years and you haven't bit, they put those in back, like in the more option, so that you always see the stuff that's, because you're only releasing one new action game maybe per month. Maybe it's a couple of months or something, but there's not that many. So you can always highlight this, and you're never going to like, I didn't know that Earthworm Jim was released for this. Yes, you do, because it's there every time you go to play.
And I would put anything that you don't own that's new in front of the games that you do own.
Yeah. Right.
So that it's the first thing you see.
Yeah, but I'd also want an option to hide them, so that I don't know, my 7-year-old who is getting really good at buying crap on roadblocks doesn't like download 17 games with my credit card.
I'm not sure how they're handling that. That would be a good question for like Tommy or John or somebody.
That's on your profile.
So you can change that. You can set that. Okay, cool.
That actual question about the credit cards, and like Rab was saying, that you have a profile on each controller, I believe, and
on your controller.
And I like Eddie's suggestion on this too. There should be a way to click on the ones for sale and choosing wish list or not interested.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, wish list is a great option on Steam, because then they send me emails when those go on sale or whatnot, and I can decide if I want to pick them up at that time or not. Yeah, and I may just leave them on my wish list until I get the right, everything comes together, and I go, yeah, I'm finally going to pull the trigger on that.
Well, he's really going on the Sonic C. Yeah, I believe they do have gift cards. They did a deal with Topps Company to do the gift cards.
Yeah, my understanding is it's going to be available at retail. Now, when? I have no idea. Right now, I'm more concerned that the console be a physical thing in my house than I am about gift cards.
Yes, I'd actually like to have the actual thing first.
Yeah, password protected, exactly.
Yeah. Pass that because that's how I protect the Xbox is with password. So I could see that.
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna call it time of death. 11:32. I appreciate every single one of you in the chat. We had some crazy fun discussions.
Don't let him fool you. He does not appreciate Michael Garvey.
Oh, here we go. Correct. Yeah, Rev. Each player has an account profile. The account creates the payment method that can use payment method. You can protect your account with the password. So there it is.
All right, there you go.
But yeah. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, John, for
no connect
talking. And who I want to go through the panel and let me know what you guys got going on your channels. Starting with the Panda Sub.
Hey everybody. So I just recently 5 days ago released a big Howdy Amico episode 2. If you didn't check that out, please do so. I'm also as a Merry Christmas to all, to those who like me or don't. I'm actually going to be putting out a video in the next few days. That's going to be a tutorial video on how to get started doing effects work in animation. It's going to be unlisted, but I'm going to send a link out to people and hopefully that'll spread around. It's not for clicks. It's not for subscribers. It's just a thank you to everybody for watching my stuff and hopefully get you started on making some great videos yourselves. So that'll be coming out soon. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Mike.
Well, being the resident Hebrew
token
panel, the token Hebrew on the panel, I am not allowed to watch Panda's tutorial since it is just a Christmas gift.
I did say happy holidays.
Oh, there you go. Very PC of you.
We can eat
see how
Chinese
well he
food while
took
watching
that?
it, Mike. We need Chinese food while watching it. It's good. It's good.
There you go.
Do you need help
so
moving
good. I
that
used to do
boulder
that
off
every
of your shoulder? Like it's not really a chip anymore.
You know, it's okay. It's
Yes, I only make tutorials for Christians and Catholics. That's it. Only God-fearing Christians.
Oh, that's going to be in a video now.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Wow. Eddie says
I think Man Machine is Hebrew.
He is.
on your next video,
You
you need to put a yarmulke on him. There you go. That would be the ultimate. That'd be the ultimate Easter eggs to throw a keep on him.
Mike, I want to get with you seriously for next season. I want to do like a Hanukkah song.
That'd be great.
In this style or something with Intellivision or at that point it'll be Amico. So I'll have to get with you before the next, next holiday season.
I will teach you words.
Thank you, sir.
I will teach you words.
But anyways, what you got going on?
Let's see. Tomorrow night is we're doing every Thursday night at 9 p.m. is the NLG show. Tomorrow night we're doing our stream and chat. So once a month we do.
Apparently, my entire crew is Jewish.
It explains an awful lot about your videos.
Yeah.
So
and all of the stock actresses as well.
That's true. It's just not me. I'm the only one that's not. I'm gonna convert.
Yes, I'm working on that with you right now.
Yep.
All you have to do is just say the word Latka and you're
Latka.
good.
Oh,
yes.
I'm in.
Good. There you go.
So just to recap, my tutorial video is now only for Jews. That's it. Everyone else not allowed. I'm flip-flopping.
I have finally won. I am the chosen.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Mike. Continue.
So anyway, in lieu of a regular NLG show tomorrow night, we are doing our once a month stream and chat. We are getting a team together to do big team battle on Halo Infinite, pending the damn thing works, because big team battle has been having some serious issues on Halo Infinite the last week.
It was a pain in the butt the other night for some reason.
It was. So
we got into like maybe 3 matches out of like 7 we tried to do.
I know. We got about 9 people so far for a fire team. We're probably going to fill up, get 12. So that'll be tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on our channel. And then next week will be our final NLG show of the year. We will go over the big 3 and what our favorite things from Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo were. And what we're looking forward to in 2022. So
very cool. Mr. Rab.
I'm just here to make Saggy.
That's so huge.
I'll see you guys after the holidays.
I'm so always happy to have Rab there because I always feel less bad about how long it takes me to make a video. Like he wins.
Over the last 3 weeks, I've had like 2 hours to work on editing. I have a video that's done. I filmed it 3 times. I filmed it 3 times. I've got all my edit points, and just being able to go in and make a couple corrections, it's just taken forever. So, yeah. 2022.
Mr. Nick.
So I have a few things. I dropped a video today just kind of thanking people for being part of the channel and kind of doing kind of a wrap up of what we did, kind of the things that got started, kind of hoping
your jump video was amazing, by the way.
Yeah. I was
such a good video.
That was well received. I'm working on a follow up to that. I've got a couple things in the works.
Duck.
A couple ideas. Actually, the next one I'm going to do in the game mechanics, I think I'm just calling method of attack, right? So that only class like different attack methods that you have in video games, and I'm going to kind of break it down into like 3 or 4 different categories. One's going to be jumping again, and there's like swords, ranged weapons, which can include like magic and guns and stuff like that. And then I had to add like another category of basically summons because some characters don't really attack directly, right? So how do you categorize that, and how does that change kind of the gameplay experience? It's still kind of rough, and matter of fact, I might shoot some of it over to you, Panda, and some of the other guys, and let you guys kind of proofread it a little bit and see if because I feel like I'm going to meander too much on this one because it's kind of big, really big compared to the other one, because the other one was so much more focused that it's probably going to need some proofreads. I'm also going to do a game history on Xbox. I think that's the next one I want to do is one on the OG Xbox. How that came up, where that was going. I kind of want to do like a couple of like rapid fire review type things on some of the retro games I played this year that I finished. What I thought of them, what I thought they did right, what I thought they could have improved on. Are they still worth playing today? That kind of thing, right? I've already done that kind of with Toe Jam and Earl because that's kind of how I finished that one, was kind of by talking about it. I didn't actually play that one on stream or anything. And then I kind of want to go into a video just going over my arcade stick collection, kind of going over that, showing that off a little bit, what I like about each one, what I don't like, and kind of what I'd look like, what I look for in an arcade stick now, and what I think is a good fit for somebody who's kind of wanting to get into it, right? Kind of as before you buy one, here's what I look for and why, and what you might want to consider before you pick one up based on your price range, right? Sort of a buyer's guide / hey, here's what I have kind of thing. It's going to be.
You're making 72.8 billion videos, apparently.
Kind of.
Okay.
I have a lot of ideas, and I have a lot of like B-roll footage for things, but nothing's really concrete outside that one video because I keep trying to think of what can I get out next week, and my answer is nothing for like 4 weeks, and I'm like, crap. And I still have to try to come up with what I feel like is something, right?
So I'm going to say this again because I know how hard it was for me to just get one frickin' video out. I still am so highly impressed with the amount of content you're able to put out, Nick. I mean, seriously, you do an amazing amount of content.
I spend a lot of time on my weekend sitting here writing stuff and editing. That's usually how I spend a lot of my weekend. And not on Friday, but like Saturday and Sunday, depending on what's going on. That's why you'll either see, you will likely see a video till Wednesday.
Damn you, Jan.
Most times, because I'll spend most of Sunday just editing stuff if I finish getting it written. And I'll spend time during the week and a lot of times on the weekend writing stuff or recording something while when I'm taking breaks from that, I'll be writing something else up. Because it's a lot of free time dumped into it that I have that I realize a lot of people don't because they have more family than I do.
I was gonna say you don't have 3 kids, so that definitely that definitely helps.
Yes,
that definitely helps. And because he is a damn genius, Jan. That's
also
why.
Correct. That is correct.
See what Rudolph has to say.
Yeah, I've seen, and I've not shown this to anybody, but Panda showed me the timeline of what he's doing, and like I feel like my timeline is getting a little obtuse when I have like 10, 15, 20 lines of stuff that I've got to go through, even if some of it's short and it starts getting kind of confusing to read. Multiply that by like 5 to 10. and you're starting to approach what Panda's doing on a given video.
Yeah, then you're also not seeing how those are all then the things in the timeline are actually connected to other effects files, which are their own separate projects.
Yeah.
So
and things that are nested that when you click on it, you go into that, and those things are all tied together. And yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I mean, when you start getting into particularly like handcrafted animation type stuff like that, like even that little jump animation of mine took me a little bit to do, and then I just reused it. Right?
Yeah, one of the hardest.
That was a basic animation.
One of the hardest things to explain to people that don't do this for a living, and that's understandable, is that you have to remember that everything I make doesn't exist. It's like not even the floor tile. So every single shot, it's not like when you're editing, you have footage, you bring it in, and then you edit it. Literally every single frame I have to hand make. So it takes long. I wish I could do it full time, and then it'd be a little.
Theory does not exist.
That is incorrect.
It's CGI rendered.
Yeah, that's true.
If we turn him too much to the side, you can see he's just like
I'm just a flat piece of cardboard.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He is a stock photo.
And when that happens, there's definitely no escape or Rico from that.
Yeah. I actually one day there's I think 25 minutes of deleted stuff from Howdy Amico 2 that I want to show one day. There's so much stuff I had to delete that I would love to.
It'd be great to see all that.
There was a whole missile command section, a whole thing that just got condensed down to just one little final missile that I'd love to show one day.
That is insane.
Thanks, Big Buck.
On that note, guys, we're gonna end it. I'm sure we'll have a little after party, but thank you everyone in chat. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next week. Next week, I believe, will be the last show for the year. So maybe we'll all talk about our top 5 games of all time for the whole year.
Can I make a quick recommendation?
Yeah.
I would love for us to have like fun little party games on here, like Marry, Death, Kill, whatever they call that. But with like consoles or something, like something fun.
Squid Game. Yeah.
Or we can actually literally go into hand-to-hand combat.
Whoever left standing gets their Amico.
I don't think I'm going to last long, but
I've been working out for just this moment.
I'm in the perfect position to stab you both.
Just don't eat me when it's over. I don't want to be eaten. Just don't.
See you later, folks.
On that note,
Fava beans and a nice
Yeah.